Okay, we are live, ladies and germs. I don't normally do boxing talks early in the morning. I think I called this late night boxing talks, even though it's daytime. Muscle memory. Yeah, yo. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get it cracking a little bit early. I was going to do an episode of the relay, but I got some things I got to do later. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just do a live and talk about the things I was going to talk about in the episode of the relay. I'll just do it live. You know, one story that seems to have a lot of people's attention is Terrence Crawford taking shots for non-boxing and boxing ego. We talked about what it do, Martin Machine, Michael Giles. He said, Terrence Crawford said, Danny Lopez, what it do, que lo que manin. Terrence Crawford said for non-boxing and boxing ego, both some hoes. And they mama should have swallowed them both. I'll tell both of them to their face. Two, they the biggest sack hangers, and I'm done talking about it. And you know, y'all know how I feel about a lot of these other channels that are out there that, for the most part, what they do is they make their money off of basically propagating narratives. That's what they do. Irrespective of what information and what proof is out there, the way a lot of them channels make their money is by pandering. You know what I mean? Here you got a fighter that took time aside, did a 25 minute tell-all video, basically breaking down what happened, you know, they side of the story. And in spite of the fighter doing that, you still got people talking, yeah, he ducked, yo. He ducked, yo. He ducked, yo. Even though everything that's out there says the opposite. You know, I remember when the year started, and me and Drew was talking about this a lot on the channel. I told him, and he said it too, that the biggest fight of last year, in all likelihood, would be Crawford versus Spence. That would be the biggest fight. And you had people and you had channels, like those channels, that they was like, nah, Crawford versus Spence is the bigger fight. Crawford versus Spence is the bigger fight. And I maintain, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. Fast forward a couple of months when negotiations are supposed to be going on, and what you hear, oh, they're not guaranteeing Crawford no money, right? That rumor was out there for a while before it was confirmed on both sides. The rumor that they didn't offer Bud no bread, that they basically offering him a bad deal, you know, a deal that it's like, bro, what is even, like, how is this a super fight? You know what I mean? And even after it was confirmed by Terrence Crawford and confirmed by Errol Spence Jr., you still had people running with the narrative. You still have people that are trying to make it Terrence Crawford's fault that the fight collapsed. And that's what those channels do. You feel me? That's just what they do. That's how they get viewership. That's how they get money, is basically just perpetrating narratives. You know what I mean? What it do, Mr. T? What it do, D-Song? Yeah, I agree. I mean, he should call those guys out. To me, he should call those guys out. You shouldn't be able to get away with lying that much, you know what I mean? And that's what they do. That's what they do. Their whole thing is they'll say something or they'll put up like a sensational headline for shock value, and they'll get the clicks off of the headline even if what they saying has no basis in reality. They'll get the clicks just off of the headline. The bar of standard for relaying information is lower and lower and lower because of those channels. They have no standard of proof. That, bro, you just basically going off of beliefs and opinions and shit like that, and you not really providing no evidence. Now, here you got a fighter that set time aside, did a 20-minute video to tell the fans, yo, look, this what's going on, this what happened. And in spite of that, you still got people trying to make it his fault. Even though in the video, and if you've been paying attention, the dude didn't walk away from the fight. You know, basically the story is, yo, they wanted to do the fight this year. So he told them, nah, you know, if anything, I'm going to take a keep busy fight, and then we'll do the fight, you know, on a timeline that y'all want to do it. And they still trying to turn that into, oh, he ducked, he didn't want the fight. It's like, bro, like, y'all motherfuckers don't get tired about lying? Y'all don't get tired about lying about that shit? Word, B, I put late night boxing talks in this mad early. You know what I mean? Like it's at the end of the day, and we talked about this yesterday. Shout out to Julio, Michael, Country, Sawab. We talked about this yesterday, that a big part of the reason things are the way that they are now when it comes to relaying information is because the line that distinguished journalists from boxing fans, it became delineated over time when the journalists themselves were basically shilling for companies, when some of the guys that write the stories and publish articles about boxing, that line became delineated when they started acting like they work for a company or like that they're a fan of a fighter. As soon as that started, what distinguishes them from a content creator, it changed. You know what I mean? And that's what led to those channels like Boxing Ego and Fanon, that in essence they have more viewers and more subscribers and a wider audience than the journalists themselves. And it's that much easier for them to lie about stuff. You prove them wrong, they still refuse and watch. Exactly, Luis. Exactly. That you can show them videos. I make videos myself. I make them all the time. I always put, in the video, I'll put where I got the information from, the names, the dates, the sound bites, and you still have people that choose to be obtuse. And those are the kind of individuals that basically consume content from, say, a Boxing Ego or a Fanon, that in spite of what you show them, even if you show them proof of what you're saying, even if you can back up your argument with names and dates and articles and video and audio, they still want to believe what they want to believe. I think there's something to be said about that, which is a separate conversation, that it's like, your dog, you don't want to deal with reality, basically. That, we could show you audio, we could show you video, we could show you that they was planning on putting Spence in there with Canelo. Before they even started negotiating with Bud, Tom Brown let it be known that Errol Spence, they offered Errol to Canelo at a catch weight. And it's common sense. All of it is common sense that, wait a minute, if you offered Errol to Canelo before you even started dealing with Bud, what would have happened if Canelo would have accepted the deal? That would have killed the Bud fight. So when I say that y'all was not interested in doing that fight, that was never a priority to y'all. Y'all always looking for something else to do. That's proof right there, because Tom Brown said, yeah, they offered him Errol Spence Jr. at 164 pounds. So clearly y'all wasn't really trying to make that Crawford fight. That was a last resort. They got problems. They don't want the truth. Exactly. These days, telling the truth is offensive. If I tell the truth that, look, I blame Errol, I blame Al Heyman, what they're going to try to do is say, oh, that's biased. No, that's not biased. Who was in charge of doing the deal? Al Heyman. Did the deal get done? No. Right there. I'll admit, I followed Ego in the LDBC because I didn't know my boxing. I found your channel and it was all I needed because I get everything. I appreciate that. There has to be a standard. There has to be a line, and being unbiased doesn't mean that you're going to cast the blame evenly. That's not what being unbiased is. And having integrity, that doesn't mean that, oh yeah, we're not going to blame anybody. It's nobody's fault. No, at the end of the day, there are people to blame. Being unbiased is the pursuit of the truth and getting to the truth and assigning the blame accordingly. Being unbiased is not pretending that this is somehow, that oh yeah, Errol's not to blame. No, you are to blame. You are. It's your side of things. If we look at this and we say, well, who's to blame for the fight not happening? Just what happened there? If we look at that, well, it's Errol's side more than Crawford's. It has to be. There's no way it works out to where it's not. No, sir. Fanon basically alter ego in a lazier version. Both of you use truisms. Let me read that. Debate method. The difference is that you also upload a lot of quality content. That's bullshit. Me and him don't use any of the same methods. I post actual information from the actual source, and that's what formulates my opinions. That's what I formulate my opinions from. That if in 2018, for example, Al Heyman, and Errol confirmed this himself, if in 2018 Errol told y'all Al Heyman gave me 4 names, and none of the names was Terrence Crawford. Not one of them, right? 4 fights for a fighter that's fighting 2 times a year. That means for the next 2 years, they didn't plan on making a Crawford fight. That's just a fact. Just a fact. How I know? Wasn't he fighting 2 years, 2 times a year during that time? Yes. And how many names did Al give him? 4. So 4 names, that's 2 years. So that means for the following 2 years, Al did not plan on making that fight. And did the fight happen in them 2 years? No, they didn't. It's not truisms, bro. It's that guys like you, when the facts don't stack up, because I read your comments, don't get it twisted. I read Daniel's comments. When the facts don't stack up the way you want them to, you start acting like I said something wrong. You got Aegis Climbers, for example, when it comes to the Fury thing. You have Aegis Climbers saying, yo, it's Fury's side that's messing things up. It's Fury's side. That's Aegis saying that. Then you have John Fury saying, yo, they didn't offer my son enough money. Then you have Eddie Hearn saying the same thing. They're like, yo, for Fury, this is about money. He wanted more money. When I look at all of that, what I see is, okay, the Usyk side seems to have been cool with the deal, per Bob Arum. Bob said that Usyk accepted his side of the deal, but it was Fury who didn't accept his side of the deal. They were waiting on him. When I look at that, it's a clear-cut matter. No, it's not Usyk's fault. There's no reason to believe, based on that intel, that Usyk is to blame for the delay. The delay is Fury. And when I do that, Daniel don't like that. But then what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to make it Usyk's fault so that you're more comfortable with what I'm saying? I believe guys like Dante and Ego know exactly what they're doing. They're just lying sociopaths and con men. I agree with you. I don't believe that they're sociopaths per se, but I do believe that at its base, they know that their racket is propagating narratives. They're not relaying information that is verifiable. They're just telling you what they think based on absolutely nothing. And I would say that the difference between myself and them is what I'm telling you has a basis in reality. It's based on information that you can look up yourself. The difference is I'll look up the information for you. I'll post it so you can see where I got it from, and that'll start the conversation. This stuff with these guys is all about lying. It's all about being obtuse. That's what it's all about, which is very popular these days because these days people want to believe what they want to believe irrespective of the truth. They don't care what the truth is. You got a dude sat down, did a 20-minute video to explain to you guys, all of us, the consumers and the boxing fans, yo, what happened with the fight? Now, why didn't Errol do one? If what Bud is saying is not true, if what he said in that video was not true, why Errol ain't come out and do a video of his own and explain that shit? I know why. I know why. And I said it then, like, bro, if this dude is lying, then let Errol come out and do a video and say that he lying and tell us what is he lying about. Seems to me he didn't lie about none of the things he said. When he said that he came to you with an offer from a hedge fund, even though it was a mystery, whatever, right? You confirmed that. Errol confirmed that when they was arguing on Twitter, both of them. He confirmed that. They're like, yeah, he did do that. When he said that, yo, we wasn't going to get no money guaranteed. When he said that, that was confirmed too. Errol confirmed that, well, I wasn't going to get a guarantee either. That don't make it no better. How does that make it better? You just proven what he said. You know what I mean? I would say the difference between me and I guess a lot of other people is if it has no basis in reality, then I'm not going to bother with it, because then what are we talking about? What are we doing? We just making up stories? No, everything I talk about has a basis in reality. There is reason enough for me to believe what I believe because that's what the evidence shows, a proliferation of evidence that if A, B, C, and D say this, all right, then I'm going to go with that. And I do the research before I decide to make a video about it. A truism, nothing new or interesting, is all you can have when people keep repeating the same boring lies and require a reply. Yeah. You know, if I show you a video of Stephan Espinoza, or if I play audio of Stephan Espinoza saying that, you know, this last pay-per-view for Gervonta, it didn't crack 200,000 buys, and that he says that that's the second highest pay-per-view he's ever had behind the Rolly Romero fight. If I play that for you and I say that, okay, that basically means that 4 out of 5 pay-per-view appearances, 4 out of 5 of those fights didn't sell 200,000 buys, that's not a truism. That's common sense. And what's missing from a lot of these arguments that people like to have is the common sense. People have no common sense. The second, they have to use their critical thinking skills. The second, they got to do a math problem in their head. Oh, that's too much. That's too much thinking. You want somebody to do your thinking for you. You want somebody to tell you what to think. That's not a truism. That's fucking common sense. If this is the second highest fight, the second highest grossing fight he ever had, but Stephan himself said it didn't sell 200,000 pay-per-views, common sense dictates that neither did the other 3 fights then. The Mario Barrios fight, the Isaac Cruz fight, and the Leo Santa Cruz fight. Because this fight is supposed to have done more than those fights, but you're saying that this fight didn't crack 200,000 buys. What I notice about this generation and what I notice about the audience at large is they don't want to use their brain. They have no common sense, which is why they argue the way that they argue. They shit is emotions. They shit is yelling and screaming and being emotional. That's some childish shit. That's like having a temper tantrum. I don't do that. The LDBC is nothing but a feminine group. Yeah, man. Like their whole thing is just saying things that'll get them views in a nutshell. Irrespective of whether they're true or not, their racket seems to be say whatever so long as they get some views. Because they was the ones talking up Glovegate. And I remember, y'all know I'm not a fan of Fury, but the whole thing was stupid. The whole Glovegate thing was stupid. That whole thing was ridiculous. Like, bro, why would having an egg weight in your hand, how would that give you a tactical advantage in an actual boxing match? That's not going to give you an advantage. Just go to a Dick's Sporting Goods, get a boxing glove, try to squeeze in a shake weight in there. Tell me if that helps you fight better. What advantage that would give you? And they just, once again, they ran with it because that's what was trending at the time. They wanted views. They wanted AdSense revenue. They wanted super chats. So no matter how ridiculous it was, and you could conduct that experiment yourself, no matter how ridiculous it was, they still ran with it just because they want clicks. They don't care what they're putting out there. I don't even know, Smokey. I don't even know. Like, you could do that experiment yourself. You could go to a Model Sporting Goods or a Dick's Sporting Goods, get a boxing glove, then get a shake weight. See if you could fit it in there. And even if you can't fit it in there, how is that an advantage? How? Fantasy fight, Ricky Hatton versus Timothy Bradley, 140. I'm gonna go with Tim because of the volume and the punch resistance. I would go with Tim for that fight. Tim throw punches in bunches, and we know he could take a punch. We saw that in the Provodnikov fight. Got to remember, Tim Bradley is a fighter that, unless I'm mistaken, he ain't never been knocked out. And he been in there with punches. Ruslan Provodnikov, Manny Pacquiao 3 times, Juan Manuel Marquez. He fought an unbeaten Lamont Peterson, an unbeaten Devon Alexander. Never been knocked out, though. Never been knocked out. So I would favor Timothy Bradley in that fight. You know what I mean? But, yeah, like, if you see Bud or any fighter really, because I've been noticing it's not just Bud, it's fighters lashing out at the fans. Like I see Raymond Ford, he was cooking a couple of guys. He was cooking a couple of guys the last 2 days. He was cooking a couple of guys. And it's because it's like, yo, you allowed to think what you want to think, but what fans like to do is they step out of pocket, and I do think that Boxing Ego and Fanon, they step out of pocket. Okay, so what you saying, Daniel, is that you saying I wasn't talking of truism in the way that Google defines the word. A truism is a construct made from two true statements meant to deceive the audience that one proves or disproves the other. So let me get this straight. If I tell you, that Bob Arum stated Usyk accepted his deal already, what you hear is that's a truism. You exactly the kind of individual that I'm talking about. Bob said at the end of last month that Usyk already accepted his deal. Now we gotta wait for Fury. And when I tell you this, that it's not coming from me, the content creator, it's literally coming from Tyson Fury's promoter, right? It's coming from him. Somebody who would know, someone who is involved, right? Usyk already accepted his deal. Then I show you, okay, look at what John Fury is saying. Tyson Fury's father, that, they not offering Fury enough money. Then look at what Eddie Hearn is saying. Oh, this is about money. Then look at what Aegis Climax is saying. Oh, the thing is that Fury's side, they got all these deals going on. The truth is, you don't want to believe certain shit because you probably like Fury. That's the truth. It's not a truism. It's not me cooking up a narrative. It's not a narrative that Bob Arum, Fury's own promoter, said Usyk accepted his deal already. That's not a narrative. He literally said that. It's not a truism either. These are things that actually were said by Fury's promoter. The thing is, you one of these guys that you like to perform mental gymnastics when the facts don't stack up the way you want them to. If all these different things were being said about Usyk, you wouldn't be saying that. You wouldn't be saying, yeah, yo, it's a truism. You would blame Usyk the way I'm blaming Fury. Well, first and foremost, I don't see how I would use that as a retort if you said that AJ is an overrated boxer. If the statement were AJ is an overrated boxer, I would defer you to his resume, who he fought, when he fought them, and what he's accomplished as a boxer so far. That's how you handle that debate, I guess. That's how you would handle that. Then you would weigh that against how he's actually being rated. And if I'm being honest, I don't think AJ's overrated. I think he's underrated. That's a two-time heavyweight champion, yet they rate Deontay Wilder in front of him. Deontay Wilder, who didn't beat more top 10 fighters than Anthony Joshua, he didn't unify more titles than Anthony Joshua, and he's not a two-time heavyweight champion. He didn't become a champion as many times as Anthony Joshua, yet for whatever reason, they rate Wilder ahead of him. I would say AJ is underrated before I say he's overrated. Why it needs to be reconciled? For example, I believe that they ranked Deontay Wilder number 2 or number 3 ahead of AJ. I think I saw a set of divisional rank standings where they have Wilder ahead of AJ, and I don't understand that. I don't understand. Like, how does that make sense? This dude never unified a title. He debuted as a professional in 2008. He never unified a title in the heavyweight division. He only ever held one title, right? He didn't beat more divisional top 10s than this guy. I know that because it's a searchable fact. You could look up the archives of TBRB. You could look up the archives of Ring Magazine, and you can see who the top 10 in the division, who were the top 10 guys. And Wilder's only fought 3. AJ's fought about 8. It doesn't make sense to me that Wilder is ranked ahead of that guy because not only did that guy do things that you didn't do, he's actually been a two-time heavyweight champion. When Wilder lost the belt, he never got it back. Isaac says, as an A side of as an A side about Tank and Ryan, if it ever happens, could, in my opinion, turn out to be another Garcia Thurman. People will be utterly disappointed, but I still think they're just jerking fans around. Well, look, the onus to do the fight is on them, bro. Like, here's an example. John Connor says Usyk is number one, Fury is number two, Joyce is number three, Joshua is number four, but Coley is number five. I would not agree with that because Joe Joyce has never been a champion. He's never been a champion, let alone a two-time heavyweight champion, and he's never unified a title. Obviously, you're rating him. In other words, I wouldn't even rate Joyce above Wilder. Not yet. You got to beat them guys, or get a title for you to be ranked among them. Because Joe Joyce, God bless him, he ain't never been a champion before. So what did he do to be ranked ahead of them? Is, I guess, what my question would be. What did he do that he should be ranked ahead of former champions? What did he do? You saying that because he beat an unbeaten Daniel Dubois, I assume, but Anthony Joshua beat an unbeaten Dillian White, an unbeaten Dominic Breazeale, an unbeaten Joseph Parker. Is beating Daniel Dubois better than all of that? That doesn't make a lot of sense. And I don't think that Joe is a bad fighter, so I don't want to trash Joe. I actually think Joe is a really good fighter. But I would not say, yeah, let's rate Joyce above AJ because of what? Because you knocked out Joseph Parker years after AJ beat this man? That don't even make sense. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Yeah, I know D Styles. I'm bugging, bro. I'm bugging. I'm gonna open up the chat to the panel, see who wanna jump on. Maybe D Styles could jump on. We could chop it up. You know what I mean? But yeah, yo, I would say Joyce is definitely top 10 in the division, but I can't say he's top five. I would say that the top five is Usyk, Fury, AJ. I would actually put AJ at number three. I'd put Wilder at number four. Matter of fact, I would put Andy Ruiz before Wilder. Speaking of Daniel, is it true Don King still has not paid him? I don't know. I heard something like that immediately after the Trevor Bryan fight. I heard something like that immediately after the Trevor Bryan fight, but it'd be messed up if after all these months he still didn't get his money. It's entirely possible that he didn't because he ended up on a Don King show. I dig it, D Styles. If I were gonna rate the top 10 heavyweights, that's how I would rate them. Uh, Usyk at number one, Fury at number two, AJ at number three, perhaps Wilder at number four, maybe. Wilder and Andy are a bit interchangeable, and then it's everybody else. Then it's Dillian White and Joe Joyce and Luis Ortiz and all these other guys. That's how I would do it. Appreciate that, D1. Appreciate that. There's no logical argument to rate Wilder ahead of Anthony Joshua. Like, based on what exactly? Based on how excited you are, I guess, or something like that, because it's not based on who he fought. And last I checked, who you fight is very important. Are these the top fighters in your division? Are these the top 10 guys? And if I do that, I've done that study many times. You know, who did Ring Magazine have ranked in the top 10? Who did ESPN have ranked in the top 10? I've done that many, many times. And every single time I did it, what it showed is AJ fought more top 10 fighters than Wilder, even though he became a champion after Wilder, a year after Wilder. He fought more champions than Wilder. He fought more top tens than Wilder. He unified more titles than Wilder, and he became a champion more times than Wilder. He's a two-time heavyweight champion. Wilder's not a two-time heavyweight champion. When he lost the belt, he never got it back. I mean, shit, they might be in court. They might be shit. You never know. But who in their right mind would let John can get away without putting that money in escrow? Well, that's the problem. Frank Warren lost the purse bid to Don King, and Don King ended up getting the rights to the show, which was crazy because you figure that today's Don King, how could he have the money? How could he have that kind of money or whatever? But that's what happened, yo. I was surprised. I was expecting Frank Warren to win that purse bid. Saludos, Jules, back on the grind, hermano. Hit the like, people, and I'm glad Crawford put these fools in their place. He should have said all the LDBC too. Yeah, because they've been slandering that man. That's basically what it's been. It's been a smear campaign. It's been them blaming Terrence Crawford for pretty much everything. You know what I mean? Even while, you literally had Errol saying that, oh, he's on the wrong side of the street, this and that. This is what Errol was saying a couple of years ago. But Tyson Fury was on the same side of the street as Crawford. And that didn't stop y'all from making a fight with him. Tyson Fury was on the top-ranked side of things. But didn't y'all make the Wilder versus Fury rematch and the third fight? So sides of the street couldn't have been the problem. Y'all worked with a top-ranked fighter to do that fight. Y'all just didn't want to do that when it came to Bud. Couldn't have been about sides of the street if y'all over here making Wilder versus Fury too. Fury was with top-ranked. It's narrative after narrative, y'all. It's narrative after narrative. And you can shoot them all down. You can shoot them all down. You can show how the logic is inconsistent. And they still going to keep going. That's why it's not an argument worth having. It's not an argument worth having. I'm over it. I told y'all 4 or 5 years ago, them guys is never gonna fight. I would be surprised if they ever fight, because what I see is that Errol don't want that fight, and Al Heyman don't want that fight. That's what I see. When I look at how they moving, and I look at what's being said, when I look at all of this, all I see is y'all don't want that fight. Y'all want anything other than that fight. When you have the VP of communications at the PBC saying that they don't think that fight is going to make money, once again, common sense. If the VP of communications is telling you we don't even think it's going to make money, we think people going to steal it, then why would they want to do it? They wouldn't want to do it. Basic common sense. PBC had the whole year, then came up with the worst deal ever for both fighters. Exactly. You got the VP of communications who's basically telling you in plain English, and it's not just an article, there's actual audio playing. It's from a podcast. And he said he don't think people going to buy that fight. He believes that people just going to steal it and it ain't going to make no money. So then the question becomes, well, if that's how you feel, why would you want to do the fight? And that's just it. You wouldn't want to do the fight. Why would you want to do a fight that you think is going to lose you money? You wouldn't want to do the fight. But y'all don't hear me, though. Hey. It's always like that. It's always like that. The moment that they have to use some critical thinking skills or some common sense, you lose them. Because they don't want to admit that it's a clear-cut matter. It's an open and shut case. For an undisputed fight, I've never seen somebody negotiate a deal where the fighters ain't got no guarantee. I never even heard of that shit. The only deal I ever heard of that was like that was the Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev fight, where Kovalev was not guaranteed any money, and everything he stood to make was supposed to be from the upside of the pay-per-view. It's the only time I ever seen something like that. And what happened in the end? He didn't make any money. That's what happened. That's the other thing. I'm glad you said that, Lil Hoto. I suddenly get Lil Hoto. They don't buy pay-per-views. They don't buy none of that shit. Them dudes sit online all day talking about them fights and don't pay for them. That's why the numbers is so low. And then get mad at you. They get offended. They get offended when you tell them that. But that's the truth. You don't buy none of that stuff. If we talking about a prime Roy Jones, I'm going to pick prime Roy Jones. But the reason I don't like having that conversation is because it diminishes Joe Calzaghe's victory. He did fight Roy Jones, even if he was past his prime. He did fight Roy Jones, and he did beat him. So if I do the time machine thing where I'm like, oh, well, if Roy would have been in his prime, it kind of feels like I'm denigrating Joe's victory because they did fight. They did fight in real life, you know? Is the only successful fight with zero guaranteed. Oh, I didn't know that. See, you learn something new every day. I didn't know that they wasn't guaranteed no money. I didn't know that. And yeah, yo, I'm gonna post the link in the chat. Let y'all jump on, tell me what y'all think. But yeah, Bud basically lost his patience with these guys. And it's because they are narrative pushers. That's what they do. It's not dissimilar from what you see with Mirage. You know, Mirage is not a dumb guy per se. He's not a dumb guy. I've spoken to him on many occasions, but he's a guy who he wants to believe what he wants to believe, irrespective of the information that is out there. He just wants to believe what he wants to believe. You know, there's a preponderance. There's an entire paper trail that lets you know what's been going on for the last 4 or 5 years, and they still want it to be Crawford's fault. It is what it is. Little beer money. I appreciate you, Dennis. Love the beer money. Love the beer money. You know what I mean? That's the way it is, bro. Like, it's plenty of... I've had plenty of these debates. Like, for example, I debated a guy about Stephen Fulton and MJ Akhmadaliev. I debated the guy, and he was trying to downplay MJ Akhmadaliev, and no matter what I hit him with, no matter how many facts I hit him with it, you know, MJ was a champion before Stephen Fulton. He was already a unified champion, and he beat Daniel Roman before Stephen Fulton. That's just the facts. That's not my opinion. So how do you attack him and downplay him to say, well, you know, he's no good when they have a common opponent? They have a couple of things in common, but he became a champion first. And it's always the same with these guys. You could see that they realize what you're saying is true, but for whatever reason, they refuse to accept it. They just don't like the way that the facts stack up. So they just get into denial and they become belligerent and they start yelling, and they might even take a swipe at you for saying what you're saying. It always goes the same way because that's how childish brains work. When you got why you think I always say baby brain? A lot of these dumb motherfuckers got baby brains. If you are an adult, got a maturated brain, a fully grown brain, you should be able to look at that information and come to the same conclusion as everyone else. You know why? Because the information is true. In these guys' minds, they don't care what's true. They just want to believe some shit. They want to believe in a tooth fairy. They want to believe Al Heyman is Glenda, the good witch of the West. You know what I mean? It don't matter what you tell them. It don't matter what you show them. It don't matter what audio you play. It don't matter if you structure it in sequence and you do an entire timeline, the chronological order of events for these guys. You can do all the legwork. And they already made up their mind, which is why there's no point for a debate. You already made up your mind. It's nothing to discuss. No matter what happens, no matter what comes out, no matter what is revealed or exposed, you made a decision that, oh, it's always going to be this guy's fault. It don't matter what. It's always going to be this guy's fault. Mirage just likes to argue. Enjoy the beer. Word, right? There's no point. That's not even a discussion. That's not a debate or an exchange of ideas. You know, me hearing you out and you hearing me out, and we discuss things. You know, we share those different ideas to see if we can come to a common ground. That's not what that is, because you already made up your mind. No matter what comes out, no matter what is said, no matter how ridiculous it is, ridiculous the argument, these guys have made a decision that nothing is Errol's fault. Nothing is Al Heyman's fault ever, under any circumstance whatsoever. Nothing is their fault, and they're never responsible for anything. And the onus to get things done isn't on them, even when there's not another promoter involved, which there isn't. There isn't. It's just y'all and him, and y'all still didn't get it done. but it's not his fault though. I got you. Coach Malachi said it best. People with the best resume get the most hate. Fighters with the least work get the most praise. That's very true. Make that make sense. That's very true. Look at the David Benavidez fans. Look at that guy. That dude ain't beat nobody. And he is not a stranger to the super middleweight division. He has been there through two separate cycles of world champions. When Zerto had a belt, and George Groves had a belt, and James DeGale had a belt. He was there. He didn't fight any of them. Then the belts changed hands, and suddenly Jose Uzcatequi's got a belt, and Callum Smith's got a belt, and Billy Joe Saunders has got a belt. You don't fight none of them neither. Then Caleb Plant's get a belt. Caleb Plant, he ends up getting a belt. And your promoter is on camera. The dude's promoter is literally on camera. He's being interviewed by Fred Hawthorne of Barbershop Conversations. He's being interviewed by Fred, and he literally told Fred in plain English, no, we want to wait. We want to do 2 title defenses, yada, yada, yada. We want to build it. But y'all still going to make excuses for this guy. You could have had a unification match. You would have had 2 alphabet titles, 2 of the 4, which would have kind of forced Canelo to have to deal with you because it would have been established that this guy's not just a champion, he's a unified champion. What do? You blow the weight, you have no titles, and we supposed to look at you as being some kind of monster. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. For the beer fund, patience is a virtue when dealing with ridiculous arguments. It certainly is. It certainly is. You know what I mean? It's like what did this individual do, or what did Demetrius Andre do, for example, that I'm supposed to look at him and I don't even know, like the dude could get dropped by Vanez Martirosyan at junior middleweight. He can get rattled by Liam Williams at middleweight, and he can get dropped again by a journeyman in Desmond Nicholson. And what you want me to believe is that Canelo's afraid of him, even though Canelo has fought better fighters than him. It's not just that Canelo's fighting better fighters than he's fighting. He's literally fought better fighters than him on a regular basis. Better fighters, higher rated fighters with better resumes who also fought good fighters. But you want me to believe that he is afraid of him. Why? What did he do? Who did he beat? What, 2 division champion, right? Who did he beat? Because who you beat matters. This is still a sport to some degree. And who did he beat that I'm supposed to believe that Canelo worried about him? Canelo fought the number 1 middleweight in the world 3 times. It's a fact. When he fought Golovkin, this is the weirdest thing. They've campaigned at the same weights, and Canelo has consistently fought the best fighters at those weights. At junior middleweight, he fought Erislandy Lara, who Andre never fought. He fought Austin Trout when Austin Trout was an unbeaten fighter. Andre didn't have nobody like that on his resume all those years ago. These was 2 of the best guys in the junior middleweight division. Austin Trout was coming off of the win over Miguel Cotto, a Hall of Famer. Who he fought after that? Canelo. Was the fight close? Yeah, it was close. When you fight good fighters, that's going to happen. It ain't going to be a whitewash all the time. But what I see is, okay, at 154, Canelo fought Austin Trout, Erislandy Lara, high-risk, low-reward guys. Austin Trout, Erislandy Lara, and Liam Smith for the WBO. Now, if I ask Andre, who do you fight at 154? Who did he fight? Can somebody tell me who he fought? I go to middleweight. If I go to middleweight, Canelo fought a Hall of Famer in Miguel Cotto. A first ballot Hall of Famer in Gennady Golovkin 2 times. A reigning champion in Daniel Jacobs, who did in fact have a better resume than Demetrius Andrade. It's not even close, all right? Daniel Jacobs had a better middleweight resume than Demetrius Andrade. These is the guys that Canelo fought at middleweight. Now, my ass, Andrade, who did he fight at middleweight? Who did he fight? That I'm supposed to believe that you this guy, you this lion and all this shit. Who he fought? At super middleweight, it's even worse. Callum Smith for the WBA. Billy Joe Saunders for the WBO. Caleb Plant for the IBF. Undisputed. Undisputed. Andre, who do you fight at super middleweight? You know what I mean? Ain't no reason in the world for me to look at Andre and say, yeah, yo, Canelo's scared. Nah, bro, ain't no way. You taller than Canelo, longer than Canelo, older than Canelo by 2 years. You 34, he's 32. And you didn't fight nobody at 54, at 60, at 68. You didn't fight nobody. The version of Sergey Kovalev that he fought is better than anybody on your resume. I ain't telling you that the version of Sergey that he fought was all that. I'm telling you, your resume is so that even that version of Sergey is better than anybody you fought. And if it's so easy to go to light heavyweight, you do it. But you ain't going to do that, right? If it's so easy for David to beat Dimitri Bivol, well, then show us what for, motherfucker. Go up there. Stop talking about that shit. Oh, yeah, David will beat Dimitri. Then what you still at super middleweight for, bro? What'll be a bigger statement? You fighting Caleb Plant at the Canelo knock him out or going up there and fighting Dimitri? What'll be a bigger statement? Sucker shit. It's all sucker shit. Motherfucker stay talking about what he would do because he ain't do shit. Canelo KO Rocky Fielding years ago, and if he fought Fielding next, it would be the biggest name. No, la verdad. Eso es lo que yo estoy diciendo. Esas son pura pendejada. All that shit is bullshit, bro. We're always hearing about what these guys would do, what they could do, because they ain't do shit. You gonna swoop in at the Canelo to knock this man out, and I'm supposed to look at that as being better than Canelo doing it. Because you so fucking scary. Then what the fuck took you so long? That dude was already there. Before Canelo set foot at super middleweight. That dude was already there. Why you ain't fight him then? Word, right? Canelo ducking Nicholson. He ducking Desmond Nicholson. What I'm talking about, big. The shit is childish. And that's why when I have those, like, for example, whenever Mirage comes on and we have that debate about Canelo and Benavidez, you'll notice that nothing he's saying is based in reality. Nothing you're saying about this guy is based in reality. But there's no convincing you of otherwise because you already made up your mind. Whereas everything I'm saying is based in reality. These is not opinions I'm giving you. I'm giving you facts. It's all facts. Jules, when Plant KOs Benavidez trying to do that bullshit 5 uppercut and leaves that coked up chin in the air, boom. Plant has no KO power. Munster doesn't. Yeah, I've maintained that a lot of what I see him do in a fight, he gets away with because of who he's fighting. A lot of what I see him do that until he's in there with real live animals that bring something to the table, well, of course, you can pin down David Lemieux in the corner and throw 5 uppercuts with the same hand because, well, what the hell he going to do about it? What he going to do about it? But can you do that with a David Morrell? Can you do that upstairs with a Dimitri Bivol or a Artur Beterbiev? That's the real test. And it's the reason that you've been sitting there that long fighting them kind of people, bro. It is. It's a reason for that. You should have been went up to light heavyweight. I don't know what the fuck he waiting for. Get the tinfoil loud. David's back to the... Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course you could throw 5 uppercuts with the same hand at David Lemieux. And motherfuckers will really get high off that shit. Like, bro, it's David Lemieux. Chill out. I'm not even trying to knock him. I'm just saying that the version of Lemieux he fought, come on now. Like, we ain't got no common sense no more? Is that what it is? Of course you could do that to somebody like him. But can you do that to somebody who could punch? Plant's problem is he's not a sharp counterpuncher. That makes you worry. I mean, look, man, the main thing is that my thing is that David is reheating Canelo Alvarez's dinner. The same Canelo Alvarez who nobody wants to give any credit, they're giving David credit for fighting Caleb. Bro, didn't Canelo knock this man out in 2021? You don't give him credit for that, but you about to give David credit? That don't, man, shit. That shit do not make no sense, bro. They'll tell you, oh, Canelo hasn't fought anybody good. He just fought a bunch of Euro bums. All right, cool then. Why you so hype off of David fighting Caleb then? Ain't Caleb get knocked out by this guy? Is the best you could do come in behind Canelo and fight people that he fought already? I'll tell you what, D-Son. I don't really like Caleb's chances in that fight. I don't know that his gas tank is going to hold up, which is the main indictment that I have for him in that fight. That even if he gets off to a good start, and even if he were to amass an early lead, I don't really think he could maintain it. I feel like he'd get tired and he'd start getting hit. That's the main thing. But if he were to knock him out, oh yeah, I'd laugh my ass off, bro. I would laugh my ass off. I ain't even gonna front. If Caleb were to knock this guy out, if by some chance he could pull off that, I would laugh for like, bruh. That would be the funniest shit ever if he could do that. David squares up a lot. Oh yeah. He gives the guy both shoulders, and he does that once. I'm glad that Dennis brought that up because that kind of speaks to what I'd be saying, that he does things that he could get away with because the guys he's fighting really ain't all that. Yeah, you could square up with the Ronald Gavrils of the world and the Kyron Davises of the world. You can square up and give them both shoulders and leave yourself out there. You can afford to make those mistakes because you're not really fighting top shelf guys. You know what I mean? But go ahead and square up with a Beevil, or go ahead and square up with a better Beeve and see if they don't put you on your ass. Go ahead. It's a reason that it took you this long to fight Caleb Plant. It's a reason, bro. That dude been sitting there with you that whole time, and you just now getting around to fighting him. Benavidez is supposedly confident about beating Bivol, yet gets knocked down by Ronald Gavril. Exactly, bro. Exactly. All they got to tell you is sparring stories. Oh, sparring. Yo, listen, Zerto sparred him, bro. But when they fought, who schooled who? Motherfuckers ain't got no common sense. I don't see nothing about David Benavidez aside from you're big for 168. That's what I see. That you're very big for 168, and you got some speed in those hands when you close to the guy. You know, mid range. He's quick mid range. But who do you be fighting, bro? Who? Who are these people, bro? Well, fucking Romer and Gulio and shit. Ridiculous. Since Canelo pissed hot and blamed Mexican beef, I lost all respect for him, and I don't understand why anyone respects him or any drug cheat. I'll tell you why. Because there's people out there that are like me that don't view boxing through rose-tinted lenses. For example, one of my favorite fighters of all time is Roy Jones Jr. Love Roy. But it's a fact that Roy tested positive in 2001 for a banned substance. It's a fact. You know what I mean? The whole thing with Floyd, which I've never agreed with, I don't really care to be honest, because I kind of feel now that pretty much everybody's on something. That's how I feel. Whether you look at Tyson Fury and his nandrolone, or Conor Ben and the stuff they found in him, or Oscar Valdez and the stuff they found in him, or John Pascal, or Jarrell Miller, or Zolani Tete, it's clear that most of the sport is on something. If you don't want to acknowledge that, that's your prerogative. But I'll tell you what, taking clenbuterol is not going to teach you how to throw a proper jab. It's not. Taking a substance is not going to make you a better boxer. Irrespective of what the substance helps you do, it's not going to make you a better boxer. How do I know? Ryan Martin went to Scotland on performance enhancing drugs, and you never would have known it based on how he fought. He got his motherfucking ass kicked, and he was on pads. So that's why I don't feel the same way that I did before about pads. Now I don't. As far as I'm concerned, most of boxing is probably on pads. Probably. If all-time greats like Roy got popped, James Toney got popped, you know what I mean? I remember when Jean Pascal was going to fight Bernard Hopkins. They did this. You would have swore he was the cleanest fighter on earth. Just for years later for him to get popped for 3-4 banned substances. So if you want to look at boxing through rose-tinted lenses, go ahead. I don't. Now we got Dre the Southwest in the building. What it do, Dre?
What's going on? How you feeling?
Chilling. You know what I mean? I don't really care about pads no more. That's how I feel. My man Roy got popped 2001 for banned substances. For a banned substance. Anybody from Roy in 2001, the Fury in 2016, the Canelo in 2017 or 2018 or whenever it was. And what that tell me is, yo, you know what? Most of boxing probably is on pads. It's just reality, bro. Because it don't matter what level we looking at. Whether we looking at the Ryan Martin level, the Zolani Tete level, or the high level. Guys get popped, bro.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I wanted to ask you a quick question, if you didn't mind. I wanted to the course conversation, if you don't mind. I wanted to I guess briefly confer with you about like the pound for pound list, if you didn't mind.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so basically, it's my contention, and I understand that the pound for pound list is a highly subjective matter. And to your credit, you constitute your pound for pound list with like good prerequisites, and a lot of them I agree with. But for me, I kind of have Terrence Crawford pound for pound number one, because his overall body of work in terms of he has the most title defenses across 3 weight classes, more than any of his contemporaries. 15 title defenses. I know Canelo has 13. He's been on the pound for pound list for like the last 9 years. He has more stoppages than most pound for pound fighters have fights. And he's been consistently on there uninterruptedly. So I guess those are my bases. What makes him like the number one pound for pound fighter.
Mm-hmm. If somebody told me that they have Crawford number one, right, I would not take issue with that, because I know that there's an argument there. The indictment on my list that prevents him kind of from being number one, because right now I have Canelo at number one. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with that, but I understand. It's just that the way my list is governed, he would have to be number one, because not only is he more accomplished than Terrence, he's also more active. That's one thing that counts against both Usyk and Terrence in that situation. That the last couple of years, they haven't been fighting that often. They've been fighting maybe once a year, both of them, him and Terrence. If you've been watching, like I'll say the last 3 years, Usyk ain't been that active. Crawford hasn't been that active. Whereas the last couple of years, you know, in 2021, I think we saw Canelo fight 4 times in one calendar year. And last year, he fought 2 times. That's on top of taking more belts from champions than Crawford. Crawford is at, I believe, 4. You know, he beat Ricky Burns for the BO. He beat Victor Postol for the BC, and he beat Julius Langdongo for the IBF and BA. Then he went up to 147. He beat Jeff Horn. So that's 4 champions he took a belt from. But with Canelo, it's like 8 champions, bro. It's like 8. You talking about the BC from Cotto, the BO from Smith, the titles from Golovkin, then the IBF from Jacobs, then the BO from Kovalev at 75, then the BA from Smith, then the BO from Saunders, then the IBF from Plant. You see what I mean? That's 8. That's 8 times he fought a champion and took their belt from them. So he has that working for him. He's also been lineal 2 times in Ring Magazine like Crawford, so he has that to his credit. But when I compare the champions that he fought versus the champions that he fought, these are a higher caliber of fighters. These guys, like Cotto, yeah, that's a Hall of Famer, bro. Golovkin, he was the number 1 middleweight in the world when they fought. He was. You know what I mean? Jacobs, I would say, is a better caliber of fighter than Jeff Horn. I would say that. You're like, yeah, Jacobs fought people, man. He beat Peter Quillen. He beat Sergio Mora 2 times. Gave Golovkin a hell of a fight. So when it comes to who's at number 1 and who's at number 3, as far as I'm concerned, they're interchangeable. But on my list, it wouldn't make sense to have anybody but Canelo at number 1. Then the list would be contradicting itself that, well, wait a minute, if your list goes by A, B, C, and D, then why is a guy who's less accomplished than Canelo at number 1?
Oh, that's an interesting take. In terms of fighters being active, I kind of look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather reign is like the undisputed, undoubtedly number 1 pound for pound fighter for years, but he was basically only fighting for like 2 times a year, like in his latter part of the career, but he was still able to maintain that spot. Basically like almost a consensus pound for pound. But see, I do give Canelo his credit. I do believe he belongs on that pound for pound list. But in terms of like opposition, he has fought really good opposition. But a Daniel Jacobs, I think a Daniel Jacobs could be interchangeable with a Ray Beltran, basically. Like Ray Beltran was a number 2 guy.
You could say that. I would go as far as saying that if we're going to compare those 2, right, I would put Ray above. I would put Ray Beltran because he was in the top 3. Him and Ricky Burns was the number 1 and number 2, unless I'm mistaken, for a while at 35. So I would say Ray is better than Daniel. We can say that. But is Ray better than Golovkin? Or is Ray better than Smith? Unbeknownst to most, Callum Smith was the number 1 super middleweight. When Canelo fought him, he was number 1. It wasn't David. It wasn't Caleb. It wasn't Billy. It was Callum. He was number 1. He was Ring Magazine champion as well. So I would say, while I concede that maybe Ray Beltran is a better scalp than Daniel, maybe. And Ray is a tough guy, by the way. After he lost to Crawford, he became a champion again after that. He was a very tough fighter, very good fighter. I can't say I think Ray is a better scalp than Cotto. Nah. I can't say I think Ray is a better scalp than Golovkin. Nah. And I can't say that I think Ray is a better scalp than Callum Smith. I can't say that. I can't say that.
See, the problem, and this is no knock on Canelo, because I'll tell you, I'm not a Canelo fan at all, but I will admit that he is an elite fighter and he is a good fighter. Well, actually a great fighter, but I'm not the biggest fan of him. But my point is that, like, and this is no knock on Canelo, but when I look at Callum Smith fight a Canelo, and it's not Canelo fight that Callum Smith never really like tried to step forward, even though he probably outweighed him by 20 or 30 pounds. But when Canelo fight a lot of these guys, and once again, there's no knock on Canelo. Like, you look at a Caleb Plant, he wasn't really aggressively fighting Canelo like that. Or Callum Smith just backing up the whole time and going, and you clearly the bigger man. And that's not Canelo's fault. He still beat him nonetheless. But when I look at Crawford, a lot of his opposition actually really try to beat him. Say what you want about David Avenetian, but David Avenetian really was trying to take Crawford's head off, Or when I look at Golovkin, I like Golovkin. That's one of my favorite middleweights of this era. But at the top level, his stoppages, he didn't really get no stoppages on the top level. You can say
that's a fair. It's fair to say, but can we also say that, Caleb is not an aggressive customer by nature. His whole thing is always defense. He's a defensively responsible fighter That's his bread and butter. So yeah, he wasn't fighting aggressive against Canelo, but who does he fight aggressive with?
But the thing is, when I seen Callum Smith beat George Groves for the Muhammad Ali trophy on the zone, he stood there, he held his ground more, pushed the jab, and held center ring. The fact of the matter with Canelo, Canelo's like 5'7". He's a tank, but he's not really the biggest puncher at 168 or 175. I mean, you could say because he knocked out Billy Joe and Caleb Plant,
No,
but
but you could
I
say that. You could say that he's not the biggest puncher. It's true. He's not the biggest puncher at 68. You know, he ain't. He ain't. That's a fair point. But I think I look at that. See, I look at how Callum looked in every other fight but the Canelo fight, right? Oh, and the Ryder fight is a good litmus test too. What happened between Canelo and Callum Smith is the height differential is so dramatic. It's hard for Callum. It's not hard for Canelo to get off his punches, but it is hard for Callum because he's so much taller than this guy. He has to either take a wide stance or punch down to hit him. He has to compromise something, give up a little bit of height. And I've often heard it said among fighters, they don't like fighting short people because it actually favors the shorter fighter. It's hard for the taller fighter. It's awkward for them to get their punches off because the target is so small and they could bend at the waist and get even lower. You already see Canelo is shorter than Callum. Imagine when he start bending at the waist and bending at the knees and he moving side to side like a metronome. It's hard to hit him. And you know what Canelo trying to do? He trying to back you up and crowd you. So I could see why that happened to Callum, but I don't look at it as an indictment to Callum more than I look at it as a credit to Canelo. They're like, this dude is like 5'6", bro, 5'6", 5'7", and he could go in there with these guys and still get that kind of response. I look at that as a credit to his skills because
definitely
not every guy that's 5'7", in other words, right, is going to be able to do that to Callum.
yeah, definitely a skill fighter, but that's why I rank Terrence Crawford so highly because, yes, it is hard to fight shorter fighters, but when you look at a Terrence Crawford who fought Gamboa, Gamboa was on a pound for pound list. He dropped off like maybe like a year afterwards due to inactivity, but nonetheless, he was a pound for pound fighter. And Crawford, of course, struggled with him for like the first 3 or 4 rounds, but he adjusted to his foot speed, hand speed, feints, etc., and he took off. Crawford fights like the reason why I have Crawford number one pound for pound because his level of adaptation is higher than any other pugilist in the sport. The way he adjusts, no one adjusts the way Crawford adjusts to any styles. And that's my point. So like you have Callum Smith, who's a solid fighter, but I feel like the taller fighters should be able to adjust on the fly, just like tall fighters like Tommy Hearns was able to adjust to shorter fighters like a Sugar Ray Leonard or Roberto Benitez or Duran, exactly, et cetera, et cetera. So the good ones are even Anthony Joshua, to Anthony Joshua's credit, who I do believe is a better fighter than Deontay Wilder and has better credentials. He was able to modify his height to beat Povetkin for real. He went down to his size and stopped him. Mm-hmm. So my point is to not, over talk your points. I feel like the tall, great ones can do it. And that's why I have a Crawford ranked so high because he's still getting stoppages at the top level. Like Sean Porter, people can say whatever they want about Sean Porter. I went on Boxing Eagle, right? His channel, and I went on the boy Campside channel and all that. And it's funny how a lot of these Eurosexuals change the narrative. Just 2 years ago, anyone can go on it. They were saying like, oh yeah, Crawford's when the WBO announced that they were going to mandate that fight next or potentially going to mandate it, you had people in the comment section flooding it with, oh, Crawford's going to find a reason to get out of it. Oh, Crawford's going to lose to Porter. Oh, Crawford not going to take the fight. Then when he stopped him, now it's, oh, he was old or, oh, he didn't train hard. That's why I don't take nothing they say serious. But that's another thing for Crawford, Porter fought a lot of hard punchers. And no one of them can stop him except for Crawford. So that's another reason why I have him number one, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It's that's why I said it's an argument there. Like, it's a debate. Like, who should be number one, Canelo or Crawford? That's a real debate. That's why I'm not at odds with someone that tells me, oh, well, I got Crawford at number one. I see what the argument is what I'm saying. I see what the argument is. The argument that I would make, however, would have to be different because Crawford's not more accomplished than Canelo Alvarez. And we have to remember, what is pound for pound? What is it exactly? Pound for pound is a skills assessment, which essentially saying when you say that Crawford is number one instead of Canelo, what you're trying to say is that there's more skill in 147 pounds of Crawford than in 168 pounds of Canelo. That's what you're saying. That's the yardstick or the anchor for the argument. And you got to build it after that. They're like, okay, well, what's the argument that facilitates that? What makes Crawford a better fighter or a more skilled fighter than Canelo, even if he's smaller than Canelo and less accomplished than Canelo? That's where it gets difficult. Did Crawford's skills get tested against better opponents than Canelo's? Nah. Crawford ain't been in there with no Golovkin. He ain't been in there with a Cotto. He ain't. You know, and I'm not knocking him. I love Crawford. I'm a big Crawford fan. But being real, did you fight somebody the caliber of a Cotto? Nah. And Cotto's a skilled guy, bro. That dude's a multi-weight champion. He is not a big man, but he was able to deal all the way up there at, well, you know, not really middleweight, you know, because it was super Cotto weight. He fought Martinez at 157, and he fought fucking Canelo at what, 155, 156. That was really super Cotto weight. But still, this is not a big man. But his skills is why he's still up there fighting people and not getting knocked out. You know what I mean? Not getting. Think about that. That Cotto is tiny compared to Callum Smith. Cotto is tiny compared to Caleb Plant. But when he fought Canelo, it was close. When they fought Canelo, they got knocked out. You see what I mean?
Can I give you an example of like with Crawford? When Crawford fought Bradis Prescott, who was far actually Crawford, he took that fight on a 2-week notice, and he jumped from 135 to 140. Cameron Duncan expressed his reservations and him not taking that fight because Bradis was way bigger than him, and he was a big puncher, etc., etc. And Crawford was able to easily outbox that man, who was he faced a major disparity in height and size. And we seen Crawford do it with Jeff Horn, who finished at 160. Kavaliauskas was bigger than them. Benavidez was bigger than them. You know, Postal, who was bigger than him, who everybody likes to laud. What's his name? Lamont Peterson. But it's funny how Postal, he actually stopped the guy who first stopped Lamont Peterson and Lucas Matisse, and Crawford went to go beat him in the very next fight. So my point is, Crawford has dealt with a lot of bigger styles, and this may sound a little crazy or hyperbolic, but I don't really see a Jose Benavidez in terms of like lack of skills compared to like what's his name, like a Caleb Smith or something. I mean, what's the dude name that's about to fight Benavidez again? Caleb Smith. Caleb Plant. This dude, he had to have a rematch with Truex. He struggled with Truex. So
let's say this though, where you're saying, and I hear you, that he took the fight with Prescott short notice, and Prescott had a size advantage, right? How many times have we seen Canelo fight a guy that had a size advantage? More times.
Multiple times.
More times. So if we're gonna use that to say to strengthen Crawford's argument, it has to also apply to Canelo. Canelo fought Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding looked like a giant next to that man, right? But you never would have known it because Canelo beat him easy. Same with Callum Smith. You never would have known it because Canelo beat him easy. Same with Caleb Plant. You never would have known it because Canelo beat him easy. And let's go to a higher tier, a fighter that I think personally is a better fighter boxing-wise than those guys. Danny Jacobs is bigger than Canelo. But Canelo was styling on him, slipping the jab, bobbing, weaving, closing the gap, slipping, hooking. Danny Jacobs is bigger than Canelo. Danny Jacobs didn't give Canelo the problems that he gave fucking Golovkin. He gave Golovkin a lot of problems and give Canelo them problems. And he is bigger than Canelo, taller than Canelo, more reach than Canelo. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to say that Crawford versus Prescott is a testament to how Crawford could deal with naturally bigger fighters, I can make that same argument about Canelo 4, 5, 6 times over. Because he been that.
No doubt, but I look at it like when Crawford fought. All right, so and just because you get stopped, you know what? I'm gonna let other people go because I don't want to overtalk people on the panel. It's more people.
Let me read the super chat. Que lo que maning Benavidez bros are kind of the same. Big for the weight, exactly. Big for the weight. Get away with their flaws. David Benavidez staying at 168 for a reason. I picked Benavidez. Yeah, I'm with you, Jose. Like, bro, if you really felt, if it was really that much of a lock that you could beat those guys at 175, then you'd be up there, because beating one of them would do more for you financially than beating Caleb Plant. Imagine if it were Bivol you were fighting. Oh, that's a bigger fight. By and large, that's a bigger fight. You gonna fight the man that fought Canelo? Yes, that's a bigger fight. And if you were to beat him, it would mean more. But where are you? Is that what you doing? No. You fighting a dude Canelo knocked out a year ago. That's what you doing, bro. That's it. You know what I mean? Edwin Castillo says Canelo 5'8", KOs guys at 175. Now, I don't think he hating. I don't think he hating, Edwin. I understand. When I look at Crawford, this is completely anecdotal. This is not based on resume. When I look at Crawford, I see a dude that makes in-fight adjustments in the fight. He feels the guy out for maybe the first 2 rounds, see what the guy could do, feel the guy power, and then he figure him out right there. 2-3 rounds, he figured the guy out. What's characteristic of a Crawford fight, first 2 to 3 rounds, he ain't doing a whole lot. Not the first 2-3 rounds. By round 4, he start fucking you up because he found out what he needed to know. And I like that about him. Not every fighter can make in-fight adjustments in the fight, during the fight. You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to watch tape on the guy, and it's another thing to be in there with the guy and see what he got. And what I see is, it don't matter who he fighting. It don't matter the weight. If it's 35, 40, 47, it go the same way. It's consistent. The indictment against Crawford is that I cannot look at the people you fought and say that these is the same caliber of people that he fought. I can't say that. There's no way. This dude is in here with Hall of Famers, pound for pound guys. Unfortunately for Crawford, he has not been in there with them kind of guys. Like, nah. He fought solid fighters. Don't misunderstand me. Fought solid fighters. Felix Diaz was a solid fighter, a gold medalist, a high risk, low reward at the time. People didn't want to deal with him, but he beat Felix easy, bro. Felix was not an easy dude, bro. To me, he beat Lamont Peterson, boy. These guys that say this stuff about Crawford, they wasn't watching boxing at that time. They don't know who Felix Diaz is, bro. They don't know he got a gold medal. They don't know that. They ain't see the Lamont Peterson fight. They ain't see the Granados fight. That he beat Granados better than Danny Garcia. He was whooping his ass. And that was years ago, bro, at a weight that was actually better for Felix. I mean, better for Granados. You know what I mean? These guys that say this stuff about Crawford to try to downplay him and trash him, they wasn't watching boxing at that time, bro. These is like guys that came to the party late and they think they know what they're talking about. Crawford is, at least to me, if not number 3, you could say he's number 2. But I cannot put him at number 1, not based on how my list is, because then the list would contradict itself. They're like, Crawford is not more accomplished than Canelo. He didn't beat more champions than Canelo. He hasn't been a champion at more weights than Canelo. And the caliber, the quality of their competition, it's a huge disparity. Canelo is fighting better fighters than Crawford is fighting. The only way I could see Crawford, at least for my list, the only way I could see him surpassing Canelo, you got to become a 2-time undisputed champion. That's not his fault. I don't blame him for that. Y'all know that. But you got to go in there and beat Spence. That's what it'll take. Because right now, the only way I could see it happening is if Canelo loses, then he got to drop off. Y'all know how my list is. If you lose, you drop off until you start winning fights again. You know what I mean? You ain't going to be out here getting your ass whooped and we still calling you a pound-for-pound fighter, right? Now, when Bivol beat him, he dropped off my list. But when he beat Golovkin, that put him back on, because what's the rule? You got to win your next fight, and he was still a champion. He was still undisputed at super middleweight, so he still had belts, which is why I was able to put him back on. And what I'm saying is, if Canelo loses to Bivol again later on this year, okay, then he's out. And if Usyk loses to Fury, then he's out. Then Crawford, by process of elimination, will be number 1. That's
well, I mean,
can I add on? So at the end of the day, Crawford is my favorite fighter. I have him pound for pound in my head, didn't it? But your list is too logical for me to argue against it. So with that being said, Canelo, I heard your Donny, the first guy that was speaking that came on, he was saying how these taller fighters, bigger fighters would be able to adjust. Canelo reminds me of Tyson in a sense where every shot is bad intention. So obviously, yeah, he's not the biggest puncher at 168, but you don't have to be the biggest puncher to land big shots or to land hard shots. And everything he throws is just horrid. And so when you're in the ring, I don't know if any of these guys have been in the ring and all of that stuff, but when you're in the ring and you see it and the guy's opposite you, and these shots are coming at you, and let's say you block it, like say, like a body shot, you block it with your elbow, your arm, and you feel that shit in your elbow or your arm. Let's say you hit it in your elbow, and that shot pushes your elbow into your ribs, and you feel that. You are tentative. You are like, boy, I don't know if I want to hold that again, my guy. And this is how Canelo dominates fights. The only person, obviously, that it didn't happen with is Bivol. That is, for me, his ceiling. 168 is his ceiling. 175, leave it alone. You'll beat guys up there, but you're not going to beat the creme de la creme of today's 175. And that's why I believe that he should just leave the Bivol fight alone. But his mentality is that, you know what, I'm the best ever. I'm gonna beat everybody ever. So I need to get that back. He's told himself, you know what, I didn't lose that fight because of this and that and the other. And that's what these greats do. They're a bit deluded in a sense, if you get me. Like, they will say, no, I did not lose. Do you understand? Even though it's clear that they lost, but no, I need to get that back. And that's what's in his head. That seems to be in his head with the Bivol situation. But at 168, he's still hurting guys. He's hurting these guys. Look what he done to Callum Smith's arm, bro. Like that, he basically gave him another arm on top of his arm. Do you understand? Like, he beat that guy down. The guy was blocking, but he couldn't block enough, because the blocks is part of your body. You're blocking with your arm, and your arm has a feeling. And once he hits that nerve with them heavy shots continuously, yeah, something's gonna give way. And it's the same with Billy Joe. If you saw Billy Joe, try to change his style a bit, and you could say that he was having a little bit of a success, but then no, because at the end of the day, Canelo just kept on winging in them hard shots.
He set him up. He set him up beautiful, because he noticed that Billy was leaning off to the side. So he set him up. The last time he set him up to hit him with that uppercut. And as soon as he hit him with that uppercut, this dude, his eye didn't look right. Like, yo, what's wrong with his eye? Like, you can see it on top. From the uppercut. And after the uppercut, he set him up, mop, and his eye was crazy after that. It's like, yo, dog, Canelo, the real problem is, and I know this just because I'm old. When you the guy, when you that dude, right? People don't ever want to talk about how good you are. They want to point out your flaws. They did it with Floyd. He was the dude. And instead of talking about how, look, like, and this, people didn't notice this until after he retired, that it's true. Floyd is not a big puncher. But there must be something on them shots, because these guys ain't walking through them neither. You see what I mean? That he only throwing 1 or 2 shots at a time, and they don't even look like heavy shots. And they'll say, oh, yeah, but he can't punch, though. He don't really get knockouts. And all I'm saying is, look, he don't get knockouts, but it must be something on them punches, because these guys are not walking through them. When you touch them, they get hit. They don't know where the punch came from. And at minimum, that elicits respect. They're like, all right, let me be careful, because I don't want to get hit like that again. I didn't even see that punch. Those is the punches that maybe they don't get you on spaghetti legs, but they'll shock you. They'll rattle you because you didn't see it and you was open. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Canelo. That Canelo's the dude right now. So instead of bigging him up for the things that he good at, people just want to point out the things that, he's not good at. You know what I mean? Such heavy is the head that weighs the crown.
But see, what you're saying there about Canelo. Sorry, one more. Sorry, the thing about you said about Floyd. If you noticed in the Pacquiao fight, he turned Pacquiao into a boring fighter. Like, Pacquiao's never fought like that before. But if everybody remembers round 1 of that fight, Floyd came out with terrible intentions and put it on him that first round. After that, he cruised it, because Pacquiao was like, okay, he can hit. Okay, this guy knows how to hurt people. Okay, I need to be careful. And that's what dictated the fight. And it's the same with Canelo. Canelo's doing it to these guys, and you can't knock him for it. He's winning. He's and the thing is with Canelo, he's underrated with his precision and his ring generalship and his whole thought process. He's cerebral. I liken his cerebralness to Crawford. They've got that cerebral shit. Like I'm gonna set you up. You go over there, and then I'm gonna wing this one over here.
And the other thing is this. Y'all know I'm a big Crawford fan. That go without saying. But it's like, yo, if Crawford go to 54, are you gonna be at 54 as dominant as Canelo has been at 68? Are you gonna do that?
Can I ask you a question, Julius, real fast? And I got other points I want to make, but let me ask you a question. Now let's candidly speak here. If Crawford were to fight Jamel Charlo, win or lose, who would be a more formidable test in terms of competitiveness and just being tough and tough skill, whatever? Would it be Jamel Charlo or would it be a Caleb Plant or a Billy Joe Sanders?
Oh,
in
that's
your opinion.
different. Oh no, that's different. Yeah, like honestly, like if Crawford was to go to 54, right, and he had to fight Jermell, I would say that Jermell is a hot. Like I rate Jermell. I've been rating Jermell before Radio Magazine, before ESPN. I've been said that dude is pound for pound. You know what I mean? So I would say yes, beating Jermell in that situation for Crawford. Remember, that would be Crawford's fourth weight, right? That would be the equivalent of Canelo's 175 run because he won, that's the fourth weight that he campaigned at. And if Crawford were able to beat Jermell, I think by far and wide, he has to be number one. Ain't no arguing after that. And then he got to be number one. That's his fourth weight. When you tried for your fourth weight,
you
got beat up.
I was just about to say Nui. What's up with Nui? Y'all forgetting about
it? But he ain't. Listen, motherfuckers, he ain't won that fight yet.
Hey, but Crawford ain't even probably gonna get that fight.
That's the other. No, yeah, and I'm glad you brought up Inouye. I'm glad you brought up Inouye because that's another one that we got to look at him and say, look, never mind the bullshit. This dude is running through motherfuckers, right? If he do the Stephen Fulton, Inouye is at about, unless I'm mistaken, he's taken 5 belts. 5 belts from 5 guys, I believe it is. It's about 5. He's got a good number of champion scalps on his mantle. If he beats Stephen, if he knock out Stephen, bruh, you might have to move him up to number 1 or number 2, bro. Yeah,
I don't put too much stock in belts because like belts are important, but I more so look at the temperament of a fighter and the caliber of a fighter because. Look, Adrian Broner, right? 4-weight champion. Can anybody even name the champions he beat on this panel?
But you made the argument. Wait. You made the argument right there. You a 4-weight champion like Leo, right? But who did you beat? It's not the belt. It's who are you? Now we know Stephen is 2 dudes at super bantamweight that is the dudes. That's Stephen Fulton and MJ. They both unified champions. It's not just the act of picking up a belt. It's not just the belt. We know that Stephen is one of the dudes. We know that if you're going to beat somebody at 122, that's a dude that you need to beat. The other dude is MJ. Then maybe Neary, who I think is a piece of shit anyway.
Yeah.
But he's just
it's mostly that the guys that are usually the ones to beat usually go for the belts. That's what it is. It's like Fulton's one of the guys, but he went for the belts because he knows they matter and shit. Inouye's my number 2 right now. If he beats Fulton before Usyk gets Fury, he's number 1 to me. And if no matter what happens, if Usyk loses to Fury, he's gone. If he beats Fury, then he's back at 1
because these guys is taking so long. See, Inouye versus Fulton is almost done. That shit is almost done, and we still don't have.
Bro, it's May.
Basically, that's what the news out of Japan is. That that shit is basically done.
They got the date already.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas with this Fury and Usyk shit, bro, we don't even know if they gonna fight.
We don't even know the shenanigans, man.
I mean, I like Inouye, but Inouye hasn't been like some people have Inouye over Crawford now, which is crazy to me because, like I said, we have to look at the time frame Crawford has been doing it and how high he's been doing it. Going on 10 years.
Let me say this. It might seem like Inouye is a recent development. He's not, bro. We're talking about this dude since 2017, bro. This dude is not he ain't no flash in the pan that just got here. Like the Americans in the West, they talking about him now because ESPN picked him up late in the game. He been that dude, bro. He been that.
Yeah, but let me say first title. Inoue won his first title in 2014.
Right. Let me say this real fast. And I know Nonito Nair is a friend of the channel, so there's no disrespect. But I'm just looking at the panoply of the fighters. Like, so you look at him when he fought Butler. I mean, Butler ran the whole fight, and dude already was stopped. But that's no knock because you lost. But I'm saying he was already stopped. Okay, he beat him to become undisputed. You know, solid fighter. When he fought Nonito Donaire, Nonito Donaire, solid fighter, but he also went into that fight with 5 losses. What I'm saying is, Crawford, I understand he might have beat 3 or 4 champions, but out of the 4 champions he beat, 3 of them were undefeated. They didn't know how to lose. I mean, that has to mean something.
Wait a minute. Emmanuel Rodriguez was undefeated. He was undefeated.
Yeah. I'm not saying he didn't beat any undefeated fighters. I'm saying Crawford beats better competition. That's what I'm saying.
Now, this is what I'm saying.
That's objective, though.
Him and Crawford is like this right now. I do have Inoue ahead of Crawford right now. Not by much. He's literally ranked ahead of him just one spot. But the thing that's helping Inoue is it's not just that you're a 3-division champion like Crawford. It's not just that. And it's not just that you're an undisputed champion like Crawford was an undisputed champion. It's that you literally fight more often than Crawford.
Yeah, it's easier to remember how good. It's easier to remember how good Inoue is, and especially when he is getting. And it's like, yeah, you could say maybe a few of the champs aren't high level, whatever. But Crawford hasn't fought a champion since Horn, so it's like,
yeah,
it's like
he hasn't had. Put it this way. He just unified the whole division in his last fight. Now he's fighting a top 3, top 2 guy in his next fight at a higher weight. The difference between Crawford and Inoue is there are less Jose Benavidez's and less David Ebenezians, and I'm going for the guy. I'm going for the guy.
Can I say something real quick? Retrospectively speaking, I'm gonna make this real fast. I know other people that want to talk. So we have to factor in title defenses. We look at Marvelous Hagler. I never seen Sugar Ray Robinson fight. So in my opinion, he's the best middleweight of all time, in my opinion. But what made him great was, of course, undisputed and title defenses. Bernard Hopkins, one of the things that made him great was title defenses. Joe Louis, etc., Larry Holmes, etc., Simon Brown. My point is, Crawford has the most title defenses out of any of his contemporaries. We keep talking about champions and belts and etc., but the title defenses have to count for something because retrospectively speaking, it counted for other fighters.
But let me say this. Shout out to Bobby Light. Bobby Light says Bud is not fighting more elite fighters than Canelo. Aaron S. Baker says it depends on if you count losses against a fighter's pound for pound rank. If you don't penalize guys for losses, then Canelo is easily number 1 from his wins. I think it's one more super chat. Drew says, morning talks. What I missed? Now we just shooting the shit, Drew. We just shooting the shit. What I'm gonna say is
they have the same number of title defenses.
Yep.
Crawford has 6 at welter. Inoue has 6 at bantam.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying across like all the weight classes. Crawford has 15.
Well, they both won their first
total.
title. They both won their first title in 2014. I could count, but I'm pretty sure Inoue's probably been more active than Bud. That's for sure.
And the main indictment against Crawford, which is not much of an indictment because he's still in the top 5, you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm rating him low. He's still in the top 5. I believe I have him at number 4 right now, behind Inoue. And yeah, if Inoue beat Fulton, I'm moving him past Usyk. I got Usyk at number 2. But the main indictment against Crawford and Usyk jointly is that in the last 3 years, Canelo been more active than y'all. Inoue been more active than y'all. That dude fighting more than once a year. Y'all fighting once a year. So y'all falling behind. 2, the point that Esau made is a very valid point. You ain't be the champion since Jeff Horn.
Inoue ain't gonna be Fulton, and I got 500 on
top 5 right now, Julius.
You don't want to make that bet. Don't do that.
I got 500 on whoever want to bet. I'm dead serious, bro. I put that on Fulton all day.
Let me get into my top 5. My top 5 right now is Canelo at number 1, Usyk at number 2, Inoue at number 3, Crawford at number 4. I had Ioka at number 5, but that is now Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo is number 5.
Your top 5 is the same as mine, except it's in different order.
I think off the top, I think my top 5: Usyk, Inoue, Estrada, Canelo, and I think what the fuck is my fifth? Crawford, I believe.
Mine is Inoue.
I got Estrada over Canelo, bro.
I don't know, bro. I can't remember. See, this is the thing. Estrada has significant victories, but he's only a 2-division champion, bro. He only been a champion at 2 weights, bro. I can't compare that to a dude who been fighting in 4. That is very difficult because usually at around 3 or 4, you get found out. That's where Chocolatito got found out at his 4th weight. That's where he got found out by Sorun Visa. You chilling. Is you gonna go to 118? His belt's up there to win. Is you gonna go to 118?
Well,
if you really that guy,
there's hella smoke though. To be fair,
I ain't saying that he did, but you not. But also you ain't beat Chocolatito in that second fight, bro. I ain't letting that shit go.
Listen,
I'm not letting that shit go, bro.
But if we're gonna do that, you can do the same to Canelo for a few fights. So
yeah.
And I'm not gonna. I want it's a list. I'm not gonna argue, but you can do that for probably like 3 or 4 fights for Saul. To be fair,
true.
I thought Chocolatito beat Rumvasai in the first fight.
Same.
I did too. I think
it's
fucked up. It's fucked up. They did him like that.
If Chaco, Julius, you know what sucks is that if Chaco won that fight, would have never had the second fight. Would have got the Inoue fight.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, he might have lost to Inoue. He might have lost to Inoue. I don't know.
I'm not going to say.
Do you penalize if a guy hasn't fought in a year on your pound for pound list?
Yes,
absolutely.
If you don't on my list, which I don't see on any other list, but on mine, you have to be fighting. That's why Josh Taylor, even though he's more accomplished, and I'm not gonna say he's more accomplished. I'm gonna say he beat more champions than Devin, right? He beat Regis Prograis, he beat Ivan Baranchyk, and he beat Jose Ramirez. That's 3 to Devin Haney's 1, George Kambosos. But why is he ranked behind Devin? Devin's more active than you are. You ain't been fighting like that. It's been a year since.
Even though his undisputed run is better.
Exactly. Like and your performance in your last fight, I do style points that if everything is even, I'm also going to look at style points that okay. Exactly. Devin was dominant in his last 2 fights. You were not. People thought you lost. That's what I see. The last dude you fought, people thought you lost. I ain't bump you off on the opinion shit. You got the quote unquote W, but let's be real.
Facts, yeah.
Devin looked dominant against the same guy both times. More dominant in the second one. The second fight was a little bit more fun to watch.
Yeah, because he fought differently.
Mm-hmm. But that's why I have Crawford number 1. When does he ever have a close fight? Honestly, though.
But the thing is, in the same token, that hurts you in regards to competition, though.
Who is he fighting? Somebody just say who is he fighting?
I'm a Crawford guy.
Like that's why I have Usyk. Exactly. That's why I have Usyk. The degree of Usyk's difficulty and what he's done is the reason pound for pound was created.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Jose.
Hey, I just want to go back to the Crawford thing. That's something that me and the guys at the gym were talking about. That of course, we're not comparing like the two because they're different times, 2 different completely fighters. But we were comparing Terence Crawford's career with Marvin Hagler's career, which is, he didn't get to beat a lot of guys, and he was mostly doing his title defenses, and that's why he was not undisputed at his weight. But hear me out on this: the reason he was not undisputed is because a lot of guys were avoiding Hagler, and this time it's politics and stuff like that. But Hagler
was undisputed, bro.
No, hear me out. By the time he fought Lerner, it wasn't. But the thing is, he was avoided a whole bunch of times, and he had to build his resume off his style of defenses. And when you go back in hindsight, most of them dudes weren't that good, but a lot of them, they were like, they were Olympians, they were, high-ranked fighters. And in the case of Crawford, hear me out on this. His resume is built up of gold medalists, Olympians, as high-ranked fighters. Two gold medalists. And me personally, since I've been boxing for like 20 years, it's not easy to get even the tryouts to be an Olympian.
Thank you.
Much less get the gold medal in a world level, because Gamboa won in the Pan Games, and what was the other dude?
Felix Diaz.
Felix Diaz, our countryman, he won it in the world level as well. So,
like Crawford, can I say this? Wait. Let me say this. A lot of people look at it as oh, this guy's behind that guy. I don't look at it that way. I look at it as brackets. Top three, as long as the top three is, say, consisting of, let's say, Canelo, Inoue, Crawford, or Usyk, it's cool, bro. It don't even matter. It's not that deep, because they supposed to be there at their table with each other. That's saying that if Dre got Canelo ahead of, if Dre got Crawford ahead of Inoue, well, I ain't gonna lose my mind, because I believe they supposed to be sitting at the same table, irrespective of who's where. They supposed to be at the same table. They in that conversation. Whereas with Canelo, the reason I have him at number one, our list is different, because I don't see nobody on Crawford's resume the caliber of a Miguel Cotto. Nah, and Cotto ain't no bitch, all right?
But Cotto didn't have the best resume, though.
Bro, I'm just saying. Hold on. Wait. One at a time. Cotto, you got to understand that Cotto is a little ass man. That is a little ass man that is nowhere near as big as a Callum Smith, nowhere near as big as a Caleb Plant, or any of these guys, right? But his boxing is so on point. I had this fight with Canelo, and this shit competitive. You not ragdolling me, bro. You ain't just backing me into the ropes.
That wasn't a beatdown at all.
And punching me in my arm. That shit ain't gonna work on me.
People post the highlights to that fight all the time with the defense highlight, but Cotto got good work.
Cotto held his own. That was a clear Canelo win, but it was Cotto held his own.
But that was Cotto on the back nine of his career. No disrespect.
It's on the resume. Let me finish, bro. Let me finish. I didn't cut you off. And in regards to Jose with Hagler, the reason Hagler benefited, at least the top guys in his era, the GOATs, fought him. Granted, his first shot at glory was a lightweight coming up with Duran, but unlike Crawford, he didn't retire not facing the other top three pound-for-pound guys.
Yeah,
he still got guys that were bigger than Tommy.
None of that, and on top of that,
someone said something about Hagler. I want to clarify. Before Hagler got the big name, he still was fighting very elite fighters like Sugar Ray Sells or Willie the Worm Monroe, who was a top 3 middleweight at the time. He fought top 5 guys.
Yeah,
and listen, Hagler was undisputed. When I started watching boxing in 1984, 85, Hagler was undisputed middleweight champion. So whoever said he wasn't, I'm sorry, I just had to correct that.
Listen, he was saying at the time that he fought Leonard, he wasn't undisputed, I believe.
No. That was when he came out of retirement, right? No, Leonard came out of retirement.
The reason that I don't use Hagler's career as a parallel for Crawford's is Hagler fought, he fought Duran, he fought Hearns, he fought Leonard, he had his super fights. Unfortunately for Crawford, which is not his fault. It's not really though. It's not his fault. This arrow shit ain't going down, bro. It's not going to go down. And if it don't go down, it's because that's your super fight. That's your white whale. But that shit ain't going to happen, bro. And we could only rate you for the fights that you have. Not what we thought would happen. We can only rate you for the fights that you have.
And he has some very good illustrious fights.
That's why
he numbered. But see, I'm not disagreeing with you. That look, I'm not with the dumb shit that the fans do. The fans do a lot of dumb fucking shit that irritates me. Just like Jose said, which I say it all the time. It is not easy to qualify for the Olympics. It's not easy, bro. You know how many fucking people you got to fight before you get there? He beat 2 gold medalists. Bounce motherfucking Gamboa off the canvas like a football, all right? He beat the shit out of my countryman, motherfucking Felix. Beat his ass, all right? And Felix was I hate the revisionist history shit because motherfuckers didn't want no problems with Felix at that time. They didn't.
No. Felix was top boy at that time. Are you crazy?
Well,
Same with Gamboa. He was top boy. Mini Tyson, they were calling that guy.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, for Crawford, what sucks is he's not going to get a chance. We're going to think he's the best welterweight of his era, but he's not going to get a chance to prove it in the ring.
Yeah, you will.
He might fight Virgil, hopefully.
That's Virgil. If
Errol
I
don't
hope
go
he
back
does.
to welter, if Errol doesn't go back to welter,
The
Virgil
best way that
becomes
will
the
happen
NBA
is
champion. He'll be the clear number 2 behind Crawford. You see where Crawford's going
Bro,
already.
look, it's going to be a shit show,
Lineal welterweight unified WBO WBA champion. That's not Errol with all the belts, but he'll get.
It's going to be a
belt.
shit show. It's going to be a shit show, and I need to go look at who's next in line behind Thurman by way of the BC because I really don't know. You know,
Listen, Thurman wanted 10 million to fight Crawford in 2018-19. What are you talking about? These guys, listen, it's not Crawford's fault why he's not the top boy, because them man there have been running. It's a simple, it's a fact. They ain't gonna fight him. They want huge amounts of money that cannot be made back to fight him. They price themselves out the fight. It's simple. The way Crawford's gonna have to do this is either wait for the belts to get relinquished, get disposed, get let go by Errol, come and wait and fight the guys who get them, or go up to 54 and fight the guys up there and beat them. I can see him becoming 2-time undisputed by doing it at 54.
The thing is,
it's not going to happen, bro. Look, I'm trying to tell y'all, it's going to be a shit show. I'm telling y'all, that whole cluster between 47 and 54 for Crawford, it's going to be a shit show.
Julius,
the best thing you could do, right? Get with Oscar, fight Rocha, and set up the Virgil fight. And you know that ain't going to be next. You know Oscar going to want to marinate it. You know he is. You know what I mean?
Julius,
can I say something real quickly?
Crawford versus Blair the Flair. That's the fight I want to see.
That Crawford Virgil fight won't happen until next year, honestly.
Cinco de Mayo.
That's it.
Can I say something real quickly? I wanted to say this real fast. So I'm making it real fast and sweet. The thing is, right, I don't think Crawford gets enough credit. Now, from some of the guys on the panel, he does, but in general, I don't think he gets enough credit for the styles he beat. Now, I want to mention Marvelous Hagler for a minute. Marvelous Hagler fought a guy named Juan Rodan, bro. Very, very awkward. Gave Marvelous a lot of problems, but he stopped him in like the 9th or 10th round. Well, then Juan Rodan went to go fight Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns stopped him in the 4th round. The thing is, Hagler asked Hearns at the end of the fight, he said, man, that he's awkward, isn't he? He's awkward as hell. Or if you look at when Muhammad Ali beat Oscar Benavidez, he struggled with him until he stopped him in the 12th round. My point is, Jeff Horn may not be the most highly skilled guy in the world. I think Porter is highly skilled, but both those styles are extremely awkward, and he handled them handily. That has to go in his credit.
It's not that it doesn't.
Who's saying it's not going his credit?
It's not that it doesn't. Wait. It's not that it doesn't. It's that I can't say that you fighting the people that you fought is really the same caliber as fighting Lara and Trout and Beefy Smith. A victory that's aging well, by the way.
Triple
that's
G.
54. Wait, that's 54. Then we go to 60. Triple G, Danny Jacobs, Miguel Cotto. That's middleweight. Then 68. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. Then let's go to 75. Kovalev. I'm sorry to say that. Look, and I'm not knocking Crawford, but the Kovalev that Canelo fought at 75 is better than anybody you fought at 47. Oh yeah, he's better than David Evanesian. Yeah,
not Sean Porter. Nowhere near better than Sean Porter.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Come on, man.
Nowhere near better than Sean. A Sean Porter who's never been stopped, who had contentious losses over Thurman and Spence.
That's the only one, though. But that's the only one, though.
Hey, yo.
Here's the difference. And I love Crawford, but Crawford, here's the thing. He didn't have enough money on that resume. What he could do, if he wanted to, he could do what Duran did and go fight Triple G.
I thought Triple G lost to Sergey Derevchenko, by the way.
And we're not talking about that, though. We're talking about.
I'm talking about it, sir. Come on, you don't gotta be like that. I'm talking about.
I'll say this. I'll concede this, Dre. I had the fight scored. I had that fight scored. I remember my scorecard: 6 rounds to 6. But Triple G nicked it because of the knockdown, because of the 10-8 round. That's how I had it.
Which fight?
So somebody tell me they had Sergey winning the fight. I see why, But that knockdown for me on my card, that's what saved it for Triple G. The 10-8 round. He was ahead by a point on mine.
That's fair.
Hey,
That's fair.
y'all hear?
Julius, in the WBC rankings, guess who's behind Thurman?
Who's behind Thurman?
Ugas.
Fucking shit.
Hey, but there's no money though, Jules. Did you see Danny Garcia still trying to get the Lara fight?
Stop them from putting that bald head poodle. That's not going to stop them from putting the title in his hands, bro.
Oh, I know. I'm talking about Danny Garcia saying he still want to fight Lara. Like, hey, bro, no one's gonna pay you $1.5 million to fight him and $1 million to Lara.
Yo, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, he could look at that shit as whatever he want to look at that shit, but ain't no motherfucking money in that fight. Motherfuckers don't care about him, and they don't care about you. That's just facts, bro. Now, I would rather see, which I'm mad at Golovkin. I wanted Lara Golovkin, bro.
Hey, he hasn't vacated the belt.
Who do you think Triple G's gonna fight?
I don't know, bro, because he vacated one of them. So
if Crawford wanted a big payday, he could call the zone like, look, give me Triple G.
Bro, he'd get turned to dust. I'm sorry.
Are you serious, bro?
Come on, how is that different?
One at a time, fellas. I disagree, Eson, because the Kell Brook that fought Golovkin a couple years ago, he's doing okay for a little while. Golovkin is not the guy now that he was in 2017.
What do you mean when you said he was doing good for that one round when Golovkin walked?
Let me paint the picture. Let me paint the picture for you. Kell Brook is not the caliber of fighter that Crawford is. Crawford is a pound for pound elite fighter, whereas Kell Brook was a solid welterweight, not pound for pound, no, but solid.
But Kell was also a lot bigger.
I'll say this: Crawford's a lot faster. I don't see.
All right, but you got to factor in these things. Golovkin was like, "I'm gonna street fight him." We all knew he wasn't worried about this damn welterweight. And
yeah, but
Kell
you think he could do that now at 40?
That's what I'm saying. At 40, what do you give?
If he hits Crawford on that chin, we all know Crawford's gonna turn to dust, bro.
We don't. We don't know that.
We don't know that. I'm not being funny, bro. I'm really not. I give. See, it's the age thing. That
exactly.
When Crawford lacks size, Golovkin, he don't got snap on his punches no more, bro. And he don't throw the jab 2 times the middleweight average no more, bro. He don't throw as much as he used to, bro.
Good. Here's the thing with Triple G now is a second half fighter. He got 5 to 6 good rounds in him, and that's always at the end of the fight now.
That might be enough to take Dud out. I'll be real with you.
People should watch when Crawford sparred Carlos Adames. It's on YouTube, man. He wobbled that man, and Crawford already sparred like 2 dudes before a fresh Carlos Adames got in there with him.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the shot for glory is there for him. I give him a 40% shot against a 40-year-old Triple G at 160.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm not going to play the fence on this, bro. Eson, you ready? If they made that fight, bro.
Don't say Crawford knocks him out.
I don't know about knocking him out, but I got Crawford unanimous decision.
All right. I mean, let's see him do it.
Tell me, I should be a matcher. Tell me that's not a big fight and that doesn't do good business.
I'm telling you, I would pick, and I'm confident. Like, now that I thought about it, right now, Crawford beat that dude. He'll beat that.
I have to agree.
Crawford goes to the body, man.
Bro,
goes to the body.
Just because of the size, but I was about to say something. You said something about Beefy Smith aging well for Canelo, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing where revisionist history has really been bad for Crawford because he has beat more undefeated fighters than most other fighters. But the problem is afterwards. So those fights that he looked so well in, those guys went on to lose more. So
that's not true. Can I name 2 fighters who didn't? So when he beat Ricky Burns went on to be a champion again, and Ray Beltran went on to be a champion again, sir.
What's the indictment? What's the indictment? Look, Victor, he just been getting beat, and he been getting been competitive though, because it was competitive with Josh Taylor, and it was competitive even with Gary Antoine Russell more recently.
Ramirez, people thought he beat Ramirez.
Exactly. So, but he's still losing though. And then
I thought he beat Ramirez.
Felix been losing, and Dongo, he been getting knocked the fuck out, bro. The fuck out. Motherfucking Horn, Tim Zoo took care of him. You know what I mean? So
And is there anybody on Crawford's resume with like where he took a risk? Like I'm not the favorite. Where with Canelo did with Bivol.
Yeah, what's it come? Bradis Prescott,
That's
Cameron Duncan didn't even want him to fight him.
Wait, unless I'm mistaken too, I don't think he was the favorite in the Gameball fight.
No, he was favored.
Now he was, yeah,
He was
yeah,
favored.
yeah.
I'm talking about where like, whoa.
I remember Gameball was the pound for pound sweetheart at that
He
time.
was still
Like,
favored though. Crawford was favored in that fight.
Not according to Bernard the boxer. He says the hometown fans didn't think he'd win.
The only fight Crawford got in favored is the Prescott fight.
In the postal fight, he wasn't like the favorite. He was slightly favored, but not that much.
Yeah, he wasn't a massive favorite in the Iceman fight. That's the other thing that I hate this shit because it was people. I was in the boxing groups at that time, man. It was people picking Postal, man, because he broke Matisse eye bone. It's like, yo, he about to break Crawford eye bone. I remember all of that, and it's like he go in there, he whooped the guy ass. Oh, now don't
Julius.
Come on.
Let's talk about let's talk about some midgets real quick.
Right.
Ioka Franco 2.
Franco gonna win.
Woo! I don't know, bro. Ioka.
Listen, bro, if he was gonna get him, he would have got him. The circumstances was favorable because Franco hadn't fought in a year. If you couldn't get him then, you're not gonna get him now.
Hey, but the thing is, all right, here's my thing. Ioka has shown he can actually improve in rematches. Franco, it's like you gonna do the exact same thing, volume, pressure with a lot of misses, most likely.
Yeah,
that's what it was. He had volume and pressure and the size advantage, but he didn't land the quality work Ioka did. Ioka's shown he can adjust the rematches and do better.
Does
it's gonna be
Ioka
another
look like he's
fight,
declining
though.
to you?
I won't be surprised.
Does Ioka look like he's declining to you though?
Oh yeah, he's been declining.
I'm gonna say this.
But Franco, he looks. I don't know, bro. Franco to me just it's something about him.
Remember he was. I'm not saying that. I don't think
bro.
he's the caliber of fighter as Ioka. Ioka's a 4-division champion, so I know they're not the same caliber. I'm just saying that he's a fresher fighter, and when we seen him last, that was him off a long ass layoff. Imagine him now, not off the layoff, and he done fought this dude before.
But to be real with you, that's probably the best Franco's ever looked in his career, regardless. So I can't even do that with the layoff thing because that's the best he's looked probably in his career.
I think Franco's going to get him.
Maloney, the trilogy with Maloney. Come on.
Nice, bro. You really feel away? Hey, you really feel away about Franco, huh?
Trilogies, dog.
Hold on, let me read the super chats, fellas. I got beer money coming in. I feel Harrison will beat Zoo. Charlo will vacate. Spence fights Harrison. Winner faces Crawford. If Crawford wins, can unify with Charlo. I disagree on this. I don't think Errol gonna fight that particular fighter, the winner of that fight. I believe he's gonna fight Fundora. If Fundora wins his next fight, that's who I think he's gonna end up fighting. As far as Tony and Tim, it's a good fight, but I do have Tim winning. I'm not gonna bullshit. It's not that Tony don't have a chance, but at least historically, if history is any indicator of things to come, Tony don't really like pressure. He don't like guys that's going to crowd the pocket and throw punches and bunches. He don't like them guys. That's Willie Nelson. That's Jared Hurd. They stopped him. That's what Tim Tszyu does. So I'm like, I favor Tszyu to win the fight.
Hey, Joe, what do you make of IBS moving up the purse bid?
For what?
For Hrgovic, Ruiz. They're moving it up a week.
I mean, they ain't going to fight, Drew. You know that shit, bro. They ain't gonna fight.
Is it just you think they're just trying to see? I think it's just posturing to see if anybody bids and how much.
Because the shit is that the delay with the Wilder fight, what's basically out there is that the delay with Wilder Ruiz is that they're shopping it around for suitors to subsidize the fight. But it does look like they're gonna fight, though. It does look like, that's the next fight for Wilder. That's the next fight for Ruiz. So I just don't get the sense that Ruiz versus Hrgovic is even a thing. They just doing that shit so they ain't got to comb their ranks again because they stay having to do that. They'll order some shit and nobody will listen, and then they got to start calling people like, yo, you want to fight Hrgovic? How many times they had to do that with this guy?
We had to do that. And we see now that I can tell Andy and Wilder want fucking 8-figure guarantees for that fight.
Well, the shit is, it alleviates the burden that if you Wilder, specifically if you Wilder, you 38, 38 going on 39 years old, right? You don't want to hear about the maybe money, the upside money. You want to know that, yo, I'm gonna make bank in my next fight. the best way to do that, yo, let them Saudis subsidize that shit, bro. They'll cut you a check right there. Like, look, this is what you gonna get. This is you right here. And that's your best chance of getting at the bread because people not buying pay-per-views out here, bro. Your last fight did 75,000. His last fight did 65,000. If we put y'all together, what the fuck y'all gonna sell?
Exactly.
Y'all
In
be
a
like,
month, in a time frame where there's like 4 or 5 other pay-per-views.
yeah,
They're not
exactly.
going to sell. They're not going to sell more than Jake Paul, Tommy Fury.
Bro, listen, hold up, and don't forget that motherfucker's gonna be worn out because you got the motherfucking Plant Benavidez, you got the motherfucking Garcia Davis, then you got the motherfucking Spence Thurman, and then after all of that shit, not even counting what Top Rank is doing, after all that shit, then you got that motherfuckers is gonna be worn out. Like, nah, I ain't buying all this shit.
Haney Loma's gonna be pay-per-view.
I'm buying that shit. That's a real fight.
And I think Bob said it that it might be pay-per-view in the U.S. Usyk Fury if it happens.
No, he did say that. He did say that.
I'll buy it. I don't give a fuck. I'll buy it.
No, I'm buying. Listen, if they do that, listen, bro. You think I'm not buying? Like those two fights to me is stronger than that whole lineup that the PBC got, bro. That's stronger than that. Bro, like,
are y'all buying Plant and Benavidez?
Nope.
No. I might look. Being real, I might buy it because I know I can get it back. If I buy it and then I do the live, I know I'm gonna get that back and then some. So that's why I might actually buy it. I'm buying Jake Paul this weekend, believe it or not. I'm buying
that too.
That's interesting.
I know I'm gonna get that shit back,
bro. ESPN,
you just want to be live when you see Jake Paul.
You buy what? Will you buy Jules?
Listen. I'm buying that shit, bro. I am buying that shit. Listen. If Tommy Fury lose that fight,
bro, Julius.
No. You never say you buy that bum buckler. You never said that.
I'm gonna, but listen, I'm buying that shit, bro. I'm not even kidding. One, I like the co-main Lunga Makabu versus Jack. That's a solid co-main event. I do have Lunga winning the fight. Jack about to get knocked the fuck out. I ain't forget how he looked with that Spanish dude that wear the Popeye hat. That's
ESPN,
dude, bro.
Bro, ESPN is about to be fucking crazy in the first quarter, bro. If it happens, Usyk Fury, Haney Loma, you got fucking Navarrete Valdez, maybe if that gets made, unless Valdez wants his.
That's gonna get made.
Hopefully, they're talking about Valdez.
Then we got, man, which fight should I go to? Fury Usyk or Inoue Fulton? Damn.
Nah, no. I disagree. Go to Japan, get your toes sucked by the Japanese concubines. They got all type of different pussy action up there. You know what I mean? Passport bros, bro. You know what I mean? Go out there, get a nice Japanese joint.
Don't listen to them, Drew. You don't want those. You don't want those
wild guy.
I just want to go get one of them samurai outfits like a John Wick and say Matane. So it might have to be Tokyo.
Come on, go to Tokyo, bro. It's Japanese joints out there. They got a little bit of pussy hair. It's not a lot of pussy hair. It's not like a whole bunch. Just a little bit of.
They're too small, bro. They're too small.
Tight ass pussy, bro. It's like trying
frail as hell.
Hey yo, you know Tommy's getting knocked out in the third round, right? You know that, innit?
I'm just saying, bro. But to Inoue Fulton, I heard Dre said he like Dre dropped off. Shit, I wanted to talk about that because it's not. Look, it's not.
Tell Dre I got 1,000 on fucking Inoue.
It's not a foregone conclusion that Inoue wins, bro. You talking about a durable guy, defensively responsible guy. He's not there to be hit like Payano. He's not there to be hit like Rodriguez. So yeah, you know, it's possible, and he must like his chances if he going. So you know he ain't that.
We must go at Fulton more than he's used to going at, guys. He could win this fight if he based off. He has the tools to win, but he's gonna need to be on Fulton more. He can't just wait around for countering opportunities. He has to lead more. Because if he drags, because once you get Fulton to exchange with Inoue, that's when he'll get him. Because
that's what
he's gonna have. Inoue's gonna have this. Inoue's counter punching and his speed are ridiculous. And at 122, he's by far gonna be much faster than Fulton. By far. So
I have to ask this.
It's not hard to get Fulton to a dog
I have
fight.
to ask you guys this though: can Fulton go over there and do what Usyk and Bivol did?
No.
No.
Is he gonna win if he don't? Is he gonna win if he don't do that?
See what he has to do to win. What he has to do to win, and I don't know if he's gonna do it, but what he has to do to win is he has to press Inouye. You know, don't back foot it, don't lateral movement the shit, because then you just end up like Paul Butler. You're just gonna end up getting outworked most of the rounds anyway. He got to take it to him and use his natural size and inside game on Inouye, and it's not a guarantee.
Knocked out though.
That's what I mean. That like, if you do that though,
it has to be.
You see what I mean? Fulton has to fight like a damn near perfect fight just because like you can't win being negative on the back foot. Not because the Japanese commission is bad. I mean, look at Ioka Franco. If they wanted to give Ioka that decision, they easily could have. But
yeah, they could have.
They were more than fair. You don't really.
It has to be
over there, but
it has to be decisive.
Yeah, but
Inouye is not a volume puncher though. So as long as he can like be first,
the key to the fight is this, y'all. Does he have enough power for Inouye to respect it?
No.
But he still has the style.
You can't say that. You can't say that. We don't know what he's gonna react to if Fulton really crack him. We don't know that.
This is the fourth weight class, bro.
Fulton got enough confidence power.
Walter's world. And Inouye, he got rocked one time, but Inouye proved his chin against fucking Donaire. Do you think Fulton hits like Donaire at 122?
I don't. I'll concede that I don't think Fulton hit harder than Nonito. I really don't. I don't think that.
But does Inouye hit harder than who's that guy that was
Brandon Figueroa?
He hit harder than Figueroa.
He's more explosive for sure. Way more.
Absolutely, but
Brandon.
Like
I think what Brandon is. Brandon's not a powerful puncher. He's a fucking big, lanky kid who smothers his work too much. Inouye, that's pure, perfect punch technique with explosive power / perfect amount of speed.
Does it carry up to that fourth weight class?
That's what I'm saying. They both haven't fought somebody like they're gonna fight next. But I think Inouye has the tools to get it done more so because he's a more diverse fighter. And if Fulton tries to press him, he's going to get countered to death and probably get knocked out from a body shot.
If he knocked Fulton out, bro, he pound for pound numero uno. No, I'm just not. I don't know about
No. If he knocks out Fulton, that's different, bro.
Hey, I want to say something real quick, though. I want to place a wager. Blows, bro. I want to place a wager, right? But I want to do it on some honest stuff. I'm willing to put 500 up, but this is what I want to do, right? So we can show that whoever want to bet, we can show that we being real. We could bet 500. We could send the 500 to Julius Cash App. Whoever wins for Julius being the mediator, we can hit him with a $60 to $80 finder's fee and take off.
No, it ain't even that. If you want me to be the escrow, I could be the escrow. I won't steal nobody money. I ain't like that.
Julius.
That's bad juju to steal. I'll be the escrow.
I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put my money on my mouth. I got 500 on Cool Boy.
You got 500 on.
I got 500 on Cool Boy, my Philly brother. You already know.
Okay, I'm with you though. I can't even bet. I'm with you. I reckon Cool Boy's got this. My opinion.
Man, cool. I'm not betting $500, but Cool Boy about to get beat up, bro.
You know what?
I'm getting better odds with the bookie.
If you say because I look at it as a close fight, I'm not willing to bet half a rack. Most I'm willing to bet is a hundo. I'll bet a hundo. But I don't know, and I haven't even decided because I want to look at Fulton one more time. I feel the fight that Fulton is going to fight, if he's smart, you can't run from this guy. You're going to lose on the cards. You can't run from this guy. So my guess is he going to fight him the way he fought Angelo Leo. He going to fight the fight in the pocket because that's your best bet.
Leo fucking rocked his world.
And that's where the realistic.
Y'all underestimating the defensive prowess of Cool Boy, man, and his footwork.
But no, it's not even that. Y'all been giving it.
Who knows?
But he's got to understand that he doesn't have the home field. And Devin Haney, Dimitri Bivol, and Alexander Usyk showed when you ain't got the home field, that's how bad I got to dominate you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fulton's biggest fights, he hasn't separated himself from his opponents except for like Roman, who's 0-0.
That's a good point. But let me say this. Nobody say nothing. The thing about Inouye, which is why I think Fulton has an out, he don't throw bullshit. He picks his punches. He look for the opening if the opening is there. I don't really see what openings Fulton is gonna give you, bro. He don't. I mean, come on, B. Like we could say that Fulton is. No, we could say Inouye is faster than Fulton, and I do believe that. He's got faster hands than Fulton, but he doesn't throw bullshit. He don't just wing shots. He don't just throw punches and bunches. He picked the punches. With somebody that's being responsible, it's gonna be certain punches that is not air. You're not gonna hit him with the first 1-2 you throw like you did Payano. You see what I mean? This is the responsible fighter. So I do feel it's gonna be difficult, bro.
Yeah,
if he knock him out, I ain't going
first. No, they're and I'm not. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Inoue blows Fulton out the water immediately. I think it's gonna be however long it lasts, a tough fight, just because Inoue's gonna have to. He's gonna need to do something he doesn't do. He needs to like really press the issue more than he normally does. And it's like it's like Donaire said, he can't let Fulton dictate the pace and range with his jab, make him reset, because Inoue's a back and forth fighter, not lateral. So if he tries to just keep resetting, he's gonna be a step behind.
That person that's talking, I got a bone to pick with, but not now, but when the time permits, I got a bone to pick with.
What's up?
It's and if it's a close fight,
go ahead.
The benefit of the doubt goes to Inoue. I don't see a way where I see Stephen. Wait up.
This will be Inoue's Achilles heel. This will be his heel. Nonito said it, and I take his word for it because he would know. He fought the man 2 times. If Fulton can keep him moving, not necessarily, I'm going to put my back on the ropes and just move lateral, but keep him moving, keep shifting. If Inoue can't set his feet, he don't get to shoot the power shots if he can't set his feet. And can Fulton do that? Yeah, he could do that. All you got to do is keep shifting, keep pivoting, keep him moving. Don't let him set his feet.
You got to do it.
Like Isan said, can I see Fulton separating himself and dominating him for clearly 9 rounds?
Bro, his if you look at it, Fulton Figueroa, close fight. Fulton Leo. Fulton won, but it wasn't a whitewash that people make it out to be. And Fulton got rocked like twice in that fight. Him versus Blue Nose, not talked about enough. Go back and score that fight. That might be a robbery. Also, I'm saying. And he got.
You talking about Arnold Kaga? Because I remember I seen him.
No, Blue Nose.
Oh, okay. Because I remember I seen him with Arnold Kaga, and I was not impressed. Bro, that was the first time I seen him.
Watch the Blue Nose fight back. You're gonna be having question marks after you watch that.
Jules,
swear to God.
What do fighters do when the odds are against them to win? They outclass the other man. We've seen it through the history of boxing. Fulton has to outclass him to win.
And I don't think he can. But the other thing you have to understand is that fighting Brandon Figueroa is a very different proposition than fighting Inoue. It's a very different fight, bro. Brandon is huge for 122, bro. Yeah. If he don't stop throwing, that's how he win. That he big and he don't stop throwing. That's the opposite of what you're gonna face with Inoue. This is a guy who takes his time. This is a guy who picks his punches. This is a guy who's cerebral.
You know what this is like? Now I think about it. It's like I talked about earlier, pressure and size with like Franco, and you have precision and counters and speed with Ioka. It's like Inoue and you know what I mean. It's like comparing Inoue and Figueroa. Not exactly, but Figueroa is a big guy, sloppy work, not really efficient, but it works for him. And Inoue is more economic, movement, counter, speed, power with more, better foundation and everything. But it's like, pressure beats the boxer. A pure boxer usually beats a boxer puncher.
So is Fulton going to pressure him?
It's like
I doubt it.
Fulton, and the thing is, Fulton is not a disciplined pure boxer, in my opinion. He's not. He will get. He's in brawls almost every damn fight.
He's not a Devin Haney.
He's not.
No, but that is true. You could draw him out because it's true. He does get drawn out in the wars. He does.
Bro, listen, Figueroa, I understand. Figueroa, I can understand that because that's a big dude who's just reckless, no real he's not worried about how he's throwing his jab.
That's true.
That motherfucker's feet are off the ground when he's jabbing half the time. It's like I can give Fulton a pass because that's a crude guy.
He's an awkward guy though. Fighting Figueroa is an awkward fight.
Exactly. But what's the alarming fights to me are really the Leo fight and that Blue Nose fight. Is that, bro, you are getting dragged into fights by dude bro. Leo's not that. He hasn't even fought since Fulton fight, I don't think. And it's like he's not that good. I mean, he rocked him twice, had him on Queer Street one time, and he's over here fighting in the pocket versus him. Like, bro, you fight in the pocket versus Inoue like that is exactly what he's gonna want because he won't need to find you. He won't need to throw a lot of volume. You're gonna be there trying to shift your body up and down. You're gonna be getting hit in the gut. You're gonna try to shoulder roll and get hit with a left hook right in your fucking chin that you've been notorious to get hit by already. And if you try to back foot box, you're gonna get outworked likely, and
Yeah.
maybe stop from a body shot anyways. So,
I mean, at
but it's gonna be a
minimum,
competitive
he
fight
can't do
regardless.
that. He can't let Inoue stalk him. He can't
He
let
can't.
Inoue
No,
stalk him.
No,
You're gonna lose
it's
that.
it's a
and
it,
it's
fellas,
worse
it's a
because
hell of
when
a
you let
fight. It's a hell of a fight, and the intangibles. He's got to go over there. 35,000 people. 99% of them want to see you lose. You've never fought out there like that, and it's fucking on that stage.
Yeah, but
On
they ain't
top of
crook. But the other shit is, don't get it twisted. The point Esau made is true. They ain't crooks out there, bro.
no,
They
they're
ain't
not. That's
crooks
what I'm
out
no,
there.
saying
no,
too.
no. I'm
It's
just
not.
saying like the
It's
intangibles of the actual fight too.
And when you if you look on Twitter and the Japanese press, they fuck with Fulton. They're like, yo, we want this fight, please fight. Like they're that's a different culture. They're respectful of the foreign opponents usually. Like look at when Triple G went over there.
Because of the
Motherfuckers had
motherfucking
flowers for
honor,
his
bro.
birthday.
Because Fulton is showing
That's
honor.
samurai honor.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared of your guy. If he a monster, we finna find out. And like I said, I gotta. Well, let me say this. I got all these super chats coming in. I'm glad to hear someone else put Jermel in their top 5. People have been pretty disrespectful. Yes, they have. Placing him behind. Listen, bro. I've been having this argument for 3 years. 3 years ago, Loma lost the motherfucking Lopez. He's still on a pound for pound. But where is Jermel? He unified. He beat Rosario easy. He beat him easy. He's not jab to the belly. Boom. He didn't see it coming. He took him out. Right now, the way my pound for pound is, Canelo, Usyk, Inoue, Crawford, Charlo. That's how mine is. And I gotta add Fulton now because of Ioka. Ioka vacated. This is for Eason. Ioka vacated the BO, so he's off the list. You know how my list works.
I
You
hear
gotta,
you.
you
I hear
gotta
you.
be.
And on this channel, there's only one Charlo. We only know Melly Mel over here.
We only know
We don't know
Mel.
that other guy.
No Kizzy.
Then
No
you,
Kizzy.
So
you
it's
got
just
Crawford at 4. You hurting my feelings, man.
he just don't fight enough, bro. That's the like. Look, at a time when the cash cow of boxing, right? Whatever, right? That dude fought 4 motherfucking times inside of 12 months, then 2 times the following year. I can't like that activity rate. And then who is it against? It's against champions, bro. It's against dudes that gotta owe. It's against dudes that got a belt. You know what I mean? It's like you fighting once a year, and it's nah, son. That's more difficult. To be that active, yeah, that's more difficult. You getting out there constantly showing I'm that dude, I'm that guy, versus one guy who fighting once a year for the last 3 years,
Versus
bro.
worst competition, probably.
I didn't say
And
nothing about Canelo being number 1. I just said Crawford being number 4 is crazy. That's just crazy.
how do you rank? How could
Not
you rank
really.
Crawford over Jules? Could you rank Crawford over Usyk?
Hell no.
Nah, you could. There's an argument.
No.
No. There's an argument. Listen to me. There's an argument. I'm not saying that it's a lock, but you could in the sense that Crawford is a 2-time lineal, 2-time Ring magazine. In some ways, so is Usyk. They beat about the same number of champions. They beat about 4 between them. Usyk beat Glavatsky. He beat Breedis. He beat Kasiev. He beat Joshua. We know who Crawford beat. He beat
Burns, Posto, and
Donko
Horn.
Horn.
Crawford beat far
Not
better
even
styles,
close in
though.
terms of level
No,
of
I don't agree with
competition.
that. I don't agree with that. Maris Breedis is an underrated win. That by far.
Very underrated. He's great. To
Usyk
me,
done every win on the road.
that's greatest.
Every
And all on
championship.
the road when you break it down.
Now, nobody say nothing. This is what I'm gonna say. The argument, right? Because I was looking for it, I couldn't remember why. The argument that makes Usyk have a stronger argument than Crawford in a sense is that all them belts was on the road. All of them. You know how hard it is to win a belt on the road? Yeah, Crawford did it once. He's done it every time he won a belt.
In Russia, bro, during the war, he's Ukrainian.
Ain't one time this man ever had an advantage. He didn't have an advantage. In Russia, he didn't have it. In
He
Poland,
fought
he didn't have it.
He fought. Step outside of America. Who's the biggest name? Joshua. Go to his backyard and clean him up.
I love Joshua, but we seen Joshua dominated by a fat, short heavyweight already, though.
It's hard, bro. It's hard. You talking about, look, when he fought Michael
If it was
Hunter,
easy, everybody would do it.
there you go. Michael Hunter in America, Glavatsky in Poland, Breedis in Latvia, Gassiev in Russia.
If you know, bro, if you know what's going on between Ukraine and Russia right now, that shit ain't new. That shit is
not new, bro.
That's not new beef.
I remember when the fight, before the fight got made, there was a question. I remember because I did videos on it. It's like, yo, is Usyk really gonna go to Russia for this thing, bro? They will rob the shit out of him out there, bro. If he and I said if he going to Russia, he better wipe this motherfucker out. And if you watch the Garcia fight, that's exactly what he did. He played.
Y'all forgot Crawford was in a war though. Y'all forgot Crawford was in a war, a proverbial war. He got shot in his head from a dice game. Still came back strong.
Come on, man.
Usyk ain't been shot yet. Usyk ain't been shot. Yeah, man.
And what about and on top of that, Jules, the jump from cruiserweight to heavyweight, that's not an easy jump.
No, that's not, bro. That's the other thing that gauging the
Joshua
difficulty
is a fucking
level.
massive hitter.
Gauging the difficulty level of going, it's and I'm not saying this to be cute or nothing. It's the truth. Going from cruiser to heavy is super duper hard, bro. It's harder than going from 40 to 47. Going from cruiser to heavy, bro. That's a different environment up there. B, it's different.
It's not even the thing is it's. All right, yeah, you can say the weight gap is wild. It is, but it's like the size, bro. Look at Gassiev, his short ass, and then look at fucking AJ Fury. What, like those are some
dude
big
fighting
guys,
giants, bro. That dude
and Isan. What did he do?
This is literally the biggest heavyweight era, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, son, and what did he do in that first 45 seconds with AJ in the first fight? Step
Straight
to
left
him.
hand. Boom.
Straight to him. Step to him. That's what Fulton got to do to Inoue.
Now, let me my opinion. Luis Puente says my opinion. Fulton adapts to his opponent. It's a 50-50 fight. I do agree. It is that close. Openda Gates, shout out to Openda. I appreciate that. Bobby Light says Winky Wright versus Jermel at 154.
Winky all day.
Son, that high guard.
All day.
That high guard. And Winky was a southpaw, unless I'm mistaken, right?
Yeah, he was. Yep.
I kind of favor Winky in that, bro.
All day, bro. All day.
Hold up. I heard somebody say this is the largest heavyweight history. Like the
size. In terms of size, it is, bro.
Let's think about the 90s heavyweights now. Are we forgetting how big?
Michael Grant was like 6'8", bro.
Nah, hold on. But he was an oddity, bro. The average height, the median height for a heavyweight in that era was between 6 feet and 6'5". You can't use an exception to the majority to speak for the majority.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're the biggest heavyweights like ever. I'm saying like the era.
The median height now for a heavyweight, that means you could spit in the wind and hit a motherfucker that's this size is 6'6", bro. The median height for a heavyweight in this era.
See, Jules, I like Ron's order.
Usyk, Nui, Bud, Cinnamon, Mel. Now I can't. This is the problem, and this is why my list is the way it is. I cannot justify Canelo being that close to Mel. Mel, you were one division undisputed. This is a four division, 2-time Ring Magazine, 2-time Lineal, and undisputed.
I know. It's like this.
Can we say this? Is this fair to say that Crawford is the most skillful? Is it fair to say Crawford is the most skillful fighter in boxing?
It's hard for me to say that. Hard for me to say that.
Who can do what Crawford does, though? Honestly, name one fighter.
You have to factor in. Okay, it's gonna go back to the cup. It matters who you do fight. He has not fought a Golovkin. He has not fought a Donaire. He has not fought a AJ or a Gassiev or a Bradis. He just hasn't. And Usyk,
a Golovkin.
Anyway, they've looked like Crawford looks versus his opponents, if not better, versus better competition.
I agree.
Sleeps, dude.
I disagree. I disagree because in terms of styles he beat, like I said, like Gamboa was an elite fighter when he beat him.
So is Canelo.
And I didn't say they didn't, but what I'm saying is we keep saying he hasn't fought a Golovkin. I mean, Golovkin at the top level, his stoppages stopped. Crawford's stoppages continued at the top level. If you look at, even if it was one fighter, he still did it.
Can we say this? Wait a minute. We got to say this. If you're saying that Crawford's argument, right, is that his stoppages have continued at the top level, so have Canelo's. He stopped Callum Smith. He stopped Billy Joe Saunders. He stopped Caleb Plant. Those are champions, bro.
So can I? I don't think the panel was on here when I list why I got Crawford as number one. I'm gonna list them real quick. The reason why I have Crawford number one is because, he's been on the pound for pound list for like damn near 10 years and counting. Hasn't been beaten yet. That's one. Secondly, he has like the most title defenses across like 3 weight classes than any of his contemporaries. Thirdly, he has more stoppages than most pound for pound fighters have fights. So that's why I have him pound for pound number one.
But he don't have more than Canelo, bro. Canelo got damn near 60 fights.
No, I'm talking about title defenses though. Canelo has 13. I checked it on Boxrec. He has 13 title defenses. No, I said I know I said stoppages, but I said title defenses as well. Well, you got me on the
But no, what
you got me on
I
that.
agree that he's in the top 4, but the pound for pound list is not a it's not a career achievement list. It's a what have you done for me lately list.
No, it
That's
isn't.
why it,
You know,
you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Wait. Let me recruit. It adjusts every fight.
This is the thing, and this is what it's like. Think about it. It's not like Crawford is 3 and 4 and 5 spots behind Canelo. Not on my list. He's 2 spots behind Canelo. 2-3 spots. They're not far from each other. They're at the same table. I'm just telling you that irrespective of the number of title defenses that you might have had, you haven't fought the Cotto. Nah, you haven't. You ain't fought.
Cotto's overrated in my opinion, though, bro. Let's talk about Cotto real fast.
That's a Hall of Famer.
Wait a minute, because I'm not going just okay. Well, Cotto is this. All right. Well, you ain't fought a Golovkin. You ain't.
Absolutely not, bro.
Nah,
all right, Julius. Has he fought a prime Jacobs?
No.
All right,
No.
then.
I'm saying.
And here's like you said, Jules, they're all at the same table. But if Usyk goes up and beats Fury, and for the sake of argument, Canelo, listen, Canelo.
Wait, a prime Jacob that was knocked out already.
Wait. I'm telling y'all right now, if Usyk beat that man, there ain't no argument, none of y'all can make that he's not number 1, because this is. Wait, don't say nothing. I'm not done. This is what pound for pound is at heart. There's a reason that you rate the pound for pound fighter against the heavyweight. There's a reason for that. You have to prove that I'm so skilled, your size don't matter. That's literally what pound for pound is. That 224 pounds of me is better than 300 pounds of you. I'm better than you. I'm just not bigger than you. If Usyk beat that man, that is the most literal interpretation, the most literal incarnation of pound for pound. Shout out to my man Roy that proved it years ago. Yes, I started out as a junior middleweight, but I'm still a better boxer than a John Ruiz, which is why he played with that man.
He signed to say something. I totally disagree with.
Listen, what I'm saying.
Usyk
If Usyk does that and Canelo somehow beats Bivol, they're not at the same table with Crawford and Inoue anymore.
Okay, cool. But I want to say this real quick. Somebody just said he didn't beat did he beat a prime Danny Jacobs? So me and Julius, we came to a medium where we agreed that Beltran and Jacobs are interchangeable. But the thing is, Jacobs was stopped already, bro. Ray Beltran wasn't stopped on that.
Eson, don't start no shit. It's true. After Crawford beat Beltran, it ain't like Beltran just suddenly became a piece of shit. He won the WBO title again. Who did he beat for that shit?
Exactly. And he lost to Pedraza. That's
not bad.
Bro, Jacobs is better than Beltran. I'm not doing this. Jacobs is better than Beltran.
Nah, I'm not going to. Jacobs is not a 2-time middleweight champion, bro. Beltran is a 2-time lightweight champion.
Beltran
is Jacobs better than Porter? Is Jacobs better than Sean Porter?
Nah, you can't do that. No, you can't do. Nah, Eso, you can't do that. Beltran is a 2-time lightweight champion, bro. After Danny lost the IBF, he never got the belt back.
Hold on.
Belt back.
Did Beltran beat Chavez Jr. though? Stop it.
Come on.
Oh yeah, you trolling now, bro. You trolling.
But Beltran got a lot. Beltran gets a lot of his praise because he was Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner for all those years.
But he was the number 2 guy at lightweight. It's no disputing that, bro. He was the number 2 guy.
Jacobs was number 2 at middle.
Okay, I give you that. That's why I say they're interchangeable, though. But to act like Jacobs was light years above him is crazy.
Ricky Burns, motherfuckers can say what the fuck they want. This is what I know. Ricky Burns didn't suddenly become a piece of shit after Crawford beat him. He became a WBO champion again. I think he became a WBO champion 2 times after that.
WBA, no? Wasn't it WBA?
Whatever the fuck it was, he did that shit, bro. That's all I was. He didn't just become a piece of shit. Now, you know what I mean? You got to give Crawford a little bit of credit for Ricky. A lot of people like to talk about Ricky like he's just a piece of shit. But nah,
I don't.
You know what I mean?
I think Jacobs is a better fighter than them.
And people keep saying Cotto, but it's no disrespect to Canelo, but Cotto was on the back 9 of his career,
you can't do that. You can't do that.
He really was.
This is why I don't do that. All right. That Cotto, right? Let's go with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Cotto was on the back 9 when he fought Canelo. I'm gonna run with it. and I'm gonna say, even if he was, that Cotto on the back nine did better against Canelo than Callum Smith, than Billy Joe Saunders,
I
than
mean,
Kenny
Julius,
Grant.
let's be real. That's more of an indictment on 168. It
Nah,
really is.
no,
Yeah,
it's
I
not.
agree. I agree with him.
No, you're not being fair.
No. Cotto was good.
Can I
Cotto was
finish?
good.
Can I finish?
Right.
Them guys at 168, what I'm telling you is them guys at 168, and even Danny Jacobs at 160, you are not the caliber of fighter as Miguel Cotto. That's why he did better.
Yeah.
And
Because he
about
is a higher caliber fighter.
you know me, Drew. You knows how I feel about Puerto Rican fighters in Cotto. I will say this. Cotto got his mojo back beating up a fucking Yuri Foreman and a one-legged Sergio Martino, but he had enough in the tank to be competitive with Canelo at that age.
I'm just telling you, Cotto is a cut above Danny Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even how old was he? Even at that age? Even at what age? He was like 37, 38.
It's hard.
when
He lost to Austin Trout, and it's no knock on him, but I mean, Austin.
But Canelo beat Austin Trout,
and that's why I
After
say
that
that's
win.
listen. That's why I say Canelo is a top fighter. I just don't have him over Crawford, but I don't have no one over Crawford though. To Canelo's credit,
I can't agree with that because, for example, I get the point because believe it or not, it's a solid point that Crawford don't be in close fights. He don't, bruh. He don't be in close fights.
No, he don't.
Now I'm gonna say, okay, you don't be in close fights, but you don't be in fights with guys like Cotto. You don't be in fights. You don't be in fights with guys like Golovkin. We got to add that if we go around the shit.
And then we have to add this. If when's the last time Crawford has done the pound for pound shit of fighting someone bigger and moving up? He hasn't done that since Jeff Horn. Inouye's doing that now. Usyk's doing that now. Hold on. I'm not done. Usyk's doing that at heavyweight. Canelo did that at 175, 168. Inouye's doing that going up another weight class. Crawford has not done none of that pound for pound type stuff in how many years?
That is true.
So you're talking about champions or opponents?
I'm talking about what is the definition of pound for pound? Me at 140 pounds, I could beat you, motherfucker, even though you at 160. That's pound for pound. When's the last time he's done something like that?
Shout out to
he's been doing that continuously.
Shout out to my man Timothy Gallegos for the bare money. I appreciate it.
No,
I want to go to Drew's point. It is a fact that when we having that conversation about pound for pound and what it really means, it's basically saying that 147 pounds of me is better than 154 or 160 pounds of you. That's what it means. You know what I mean? 147 pounds of Crawford has more boxing skill than 154 pounds of this guy or 160 pounds of that guy. Now, when is the last time that we seen that?
We seen it continuously now, maybe not on as far as him beating champions, but I mean, Kavalauskas was bigger than the man. David Benavidez was bigger than the man.
No, we're talking about the weight class. Come on, stop it.
Wait. You talk about champions, right? You talking about opponents or champions?
I'm talking about moving up the weight class and taking on someone bigger.
That's what I'm saying. He has done that at
he hasn't. He's at 47 now.
Kavalauskas wasn't bigger than him when they fought, bro.
They both made the weight, bro.
Can we say this? No, we can't say this. Look, Crawford's welterweight campaign started before Canelo Alvarez's super middleweight and light heavyweight campaigns. He was already there, and you've been there ever since, basically since 2017. You've been there. Canelo campaign as super middleweight didn't start until years, so he's still doing that. They're like, yo, I'm still that dude, B. I might have been at 60, but at 68, I'll fuck you up. I might have been at 68, but at 75, I'll fuck you up.
And
I'm just looking at history.
How quick did he consolidate 68 when there was already dudes there?
7 months because he's that fucking guy, bro.
And I get what you're saying, but if we look at Terrence Crawford right now, I give you the whole Canelo did that, 4 times. He did do that. But when we look at Crawford, because like pound for pound is retroactively speaking, along with currently speaking too. Crawford, we seen him fight 3 times in 2016. It was a long time ago, granted, but he has done it before. He hasn't done it lately, but he has done it before.
That's damn near closer to a decade. When
why is Crawford still pound for pound top 5 though? Because
I need a moment. Christina Leonardo too is so fucking fine. Maybe it's because she's Dominican, but my God, that woman is so fucking. Oh my God.
When Sugar Ray Robinson was pound for pound, he was pound for pound because he was better than everybody, and we got to see it 20 fucking times in a year.
Well, I'm gonna.
I'm sorry,
That's another thing.
one time a year is not enough.
That's another thing that the main indictment that I have.
It was for Floyd. My bad. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Nah, Floyd wasn't on a once-a-year schedule. He
No,
was
twice a year schedule though.
He's on a twice-a-year schedule
Against inferior competition. But go ahead though, bro.
Well, I don't. That's the other thing that I don't
See,
like.
why you doing that?
No, wait.
No. Can I say this real fast?
Let me go. Floyd
Right.
competition was not inferior. He was just better than them guys.
I agree with you, but I want to say this. I agree with you. This is what I meant by that. What I meant by that is, to me, Floyd was the best in his generation. I don't take that away from him. But what I'm saying is we knew, like, in comparative skills, like Roberto, Roberto, what was his name? Roberto what? Robert
Ghost.
Roberto Guerrero, Andre Berto, Madonna, Victor Ortiz.
Can I say this, Dre? Them fighters, right? If you look at them without Floyd, they wasn't scrubs. Chino wasn't a scrub. He just beat Broner. He wasn't a
Broner
scrub.
had never done nothing at welterweight though, my brother.
But still, Broner was a 4th division champion though.
Let's talk about Maidana. Let's talk about Maidana. No, let me make this point real quick. Real quick. Let me make this point real quick. Maidana lost to Amir Khan, and he lost to Devin Alexander. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is he didn't deal well with boxers and movers. I'm talking about styles now.
But this is what I mean.
That's not what we're talking about, though.
No, let me say this. When I was around for the whole Roy Jones Jr. era, right? When he beat James Toney and Hopkins the first time, it didn't seem like a big deal till later on. That to appreciate the victory, they're like, damn, them dudes, because they went on to do other things beyond that particular fight that they had. And the rematch between Roy and Bernard wasn't until 14 years later. But what I'm saying is, it's like that with Floyd in the sense that Robert Guerrero wasn't a bad fighter. That wasn't not no bum.
I gotta correct you, Julius. James Toney, before he fought Roy, he had beat Mike McCullum. I mean, not Mike McCullum. Mike McCullum, the body snatcher. So that was a great one for Roy at that time.
I'm saying it was a great one at the time, but it was not perceived in the moment the way it was later on when you look back and say, damn, B. Roy fought Hopkins, he fought Toney. Remember what Roy said himself? I made him look like nobody because he wasn't getting no props for the victories that he was having. That's how good he was.
They said I ain't fought nobody. That's gonna be
nobody. Bun, with Floyd, I'm saying Robert Guerrero was not a scrub. Marcos McDonald was not a scrub. You see what I mean? Not a scrub. Like
every generation of fight fans, you could pick hole in every fucking GOAT's resume and do this bullshit. The reason that fucking argument goes away is, okay, how often did your guy do it? How many times did your guy do it? That's what fucking separates it after this bullshit of, well, this guy lost to this guy and that guy lost to that guy who beat that guy. After all that bullshit, it's okay. Canelo's going to have almost 70 fights at the end of his career. He's going to be regarded more than fucking Crawford when Crawford retires. Just because of the activity.
According to the Hall of Famers, he's not now, though, bro. If you look at all the Hall of Famers, they put Crawford over Canelo, generally speaking.
That's American Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
But America, they're the ones who really. Let's be honest, right?
Come on, man.
Let's be honest. Before UK,
fights, bro.
But America has transcended boxing, bro. Joe Gann made the jab, bro. He was from Baltimore. If you just think about what American fighters have given to boxing, they pretty much transcended by George Dixon, bro. He created shadow boxing, bro. It's like Americans make boxing pop for real, bro.
No. Wait a minute. No. One at a time.
Well, George Dixon was from Canada, by the way. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
Let me say this. One, I agree that may have been the consensus a long time ago. That's not going on today. And first off, the boxing that we know, if we're going to be real for real, is because of the Brits. The boxing that we know, the Marcus Queensberry rules, that's where they came from. And where is
no doubt.
Now, where is boxing now? Where is the real money in boxing right now? It's not here.
It's back over in Europe again.
But name one UK guy that was the name of a Joe Louis, a Ali, a Floyd Mayweather right now. You can't.
Listen, I don't disagree with you when it comes to that particular period. That when we got it, we made the shit. Man, you know what I equated to? Honestly, rap. when the East Coast had the shit, it left the West, and the East Coast got the shit, nothing but classics came out. And then the South got the shit, and it's all retarded now. You know, it's kind of like that in our moment in history with boxing, America, we produce some of the greatest fighters that the sport has ever seen. But it's not fair to say that, oh yeah, this is our shit, that we the ones that make it pop. No, we're not. Not
oh
anymore.
no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Americans have transcended the sport of boxing more than any other country on the earth. That's a fact, bro. They have.
Wait. I can't completely agree because of our buddies south of the border in Mexico. I can't completely agree with that. Julio Cesar Chavez had over 100,000 people show up for the Greg Haugen fight. Do you know what that is? Over 100,000 fucking people for Greg Haugen.
The same Chavez that got his ass whooped by Pernell Whitaker and Maldrick Taylor and was robbed.
Exactly.
And both of them were robbed.
That don't matter to the Mexicans.
I'm not talking about fan base. I'm talking about skills, bro, and transcending the sport.
Transcending has nothing to do with skills. Now, come on, bro.
Yeah, you got to pick one, because my thing is this: that I feel like the argument that you're making is that the American fighters and the period that the sport was super duper popular in America, that it helped to elevate the sport. I'm not disagreeing with that, but to put us over everybody, now I don't agree with that, because right now, who carrying boxing in America? Yeah. Mexico.
Right, bro. Right. That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm not. UK got it right now for they getting shit popping on a major level, but I'm saying overall, American fighters, and I'm not just saying black fighters. I'm black fighters, white fighters, Latino fighters. They have contributed more to the sport overall than any other country on the face of this earth, bro. That's all I'm saying.
I still think
boxing's too big, too long to say that.
Who was a name like Ali?
No.
Who was a name like Jack Dempsey?
Nah, I ain't gonna front. He right. There's two names that make his argument, and don't argue with me. There's two names that make his argument: Ali, my man, Kid Dynamite, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The only one on their level outside.
They ain't boxers. They ain't just boxers. Them motherfuckers are superheroes.
The only one on that level is Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, Julius. So
not nowhere near close to Ali, bro. He was nowhere near close to Ali.
When Manny Pacquiao, Filipinos.
Yeah, when Manny Pacquiao wins that presidency, before he passes, Manny Pacquiao, you guys underrate how big he fucking is.
I'm not underrating how big
he is. I'm
telling you, he's not bigger than Ali, and you're not
nowhere near bigger than Ali.
You know, we're not gonna do this, bro. We're not gonna. Manny is big. Ali is God mode. You know what I mean? Like
when Ali fought Leon Spinks in the second fight, 43% of the country tuned in to watch that fight. 43%, bro. When he fought George Foreman, over a billion. Wait. When he fought George Foreman, over 1 billion people watched that fight, bro. 1 billion. Come on, man.
I love that.
Come on, man.
Listen. I'm gonna say, and motherfuckers say what they want about me. There's no victory that I consider bigger than Ali versus Foreman. None. They thought that man was gonna die. They thought that man was. They really thought, Ali don't stand a chance. You see what the fuck he did to Joe Frazier in 2 rounds? Ali don't stand a chance, bro. He lost to Frazier.
He gonna die.
Nobody believed him. Nobody believed him, and nobody believed in him. And he still wants to. I can't compare that to none of this shit that be going on.
Yeah,
bro.
but when we moved the goalposts, all I said was
that fight. My dad told me that when he was watching that fight, halfway through the fight, he actually got behind the settee. He couldn't watch it. He was an Ali fan. He's a big Ali fan. He said he had to. He said he jumped behind the settee and was peeping to watch the fucking fight.
Bro. I can't compare that.
No, you can't.
Ain't nothing to compare. Like that was like Clash of the Titans, bro. And I can't compare that to nothing, bro. And the fact that he fought Joe Frazier 2 times after he already lost to him, that's just more. It's just more.
And I agree, but we moved the goalposts. All I said was when they retire, Canelo's gonna be higher ranked all time than Crawford.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
Absolutely.
I do agree with that. Canelo will be thought of. See, this is the thing. Canelo will be in an exclusive class of Mexican fighters, a very short list of fighters. Whereas Crawford, yeah, you're a 3-division champion, but America produces champions like that all the time. All the time.
You're nothing new, basically.
And on top of that,
Canelo's nothing new. James Toney had over 70 fights.
We're not going to see that.
How many fighters in this era have 70 fights?
You're not. Well, Pacquiao retired, so we can't.
No, I'm talking at the level Canelo is considered the guys who carry the sport. Who's the next guy to carry the sport that's going to have 70 fucking fights?
Let me ask y'all this question: Who's more highly touted?
Listen,
Who's more highly touted, Sugar Ray Leonard or Canelo Alvarez? No, 1 second, bro. I'll let you go. Just 1 second. Who's more highly touted, Sugar Ray Leonard or Canelo Alvarez?
I would say Sugar, but it's not fair to compare a career that's over to a career that is ongoing.
No, I'm not even talking about the career. What I'm saying is that he doesn't even have over 35 fights. But what I'm saying is his body of
you can't.
And here's my argument with that.
Super fights, bro.
That's true. That's true.
What we do over here, we don't. Well, no, hold on, Jules. We don't compare 12-round fighters to 15-round fighters over here.
Yeah. Like you can't do that. Like your fights is Duran, Benitez, Hitman, you can't do that.
How old was he? Was 23 when he fought Hearns, and then, like I said, you can't compare 15 to 12-round fighters. You just can't.
He was 25 when he fought Hearns. Hearns was 22.
All I could do with Canelo is compare him to his contemporaries because there ain't no time machine. Sugar Ray Leonard ain't running around here fighting people. All I could do is compare him to the people that's here and now in his era. And there is a disparity between him and almost everybody else. The only ones that's catching up, and it's really just one guy. The guy that is catching up is the little Japanese guy they call a monster. That's a bad little motherfucker, man. I love Crawford, but you're not active.
Catching up to who?
Not active enough. That's
the
man.
Catching up to who?
Who?
Well, you said only anyways catching up to who?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's a bad little motherfucker, bro.
No, you're saying he's catching up to Canelo.
He's catching up to Canelo. He's catching up to Canelo.
In terms of pound for pound?
Yes.
What about Usyk?
No, he's saying in terms of the activity and when how revered is Inoue going to be when he's retired?
Usyk is one fight away from, and I already made my point about Usyk. Usyk don't need a lot no more. You one fight away from being this era's greatest fighter. I'm not even gonna bullshit you. I would rate him over Canelo. It's not close. Why?
No, we even said it, Jules. He's top 10 pound for pound.
This is what pound for pound is. Usyk, if he win that fight, if you ever want to understand what is pound for pound, what is it really? It's Usyk. If he wins, it's Usyk. Why? This man is not a heavyweight. He's not. He's not a heavyweight. He dominated everybody at his weight, and he's proven to you, I'm not 300 pounds. I'm not 270. I'm not 6'8". I don't got an 80-inch wingspan, and I don't weigh 300 pounds, but I can beat him. That's pound for pound, bro. That's
Usyk makes the argument. Wait, Usyk makes the argument. If he wins, he makes the argument he's top 10 pound for pound fighter of all time.
I don't know about all time. That's that.
He makes the argument. Not heavyweight. Not heavyweight. Not heavyweight. Just a top 10 pound for pound fighter.
I'm going to say, look. I got to go to my man Michael Spinks the Jinx. I know that the Larry Holmes fights were controversial. I get that. They were 15-round fighters. Michael Spinks the Jinx. But you got to admit that he did that with an ATG, and it's like, what we
the fact that it was close is crazy.
Exactly, B. Both times. It's like, bro, and this dude is not a big dude, bro.
He beat Larry Holmes easily in the first
heavy. There was no cruiserweight. He just went from light heavy straight to heavy. Spinks is that guy. I forgot about Spinks.
Yeah, he really is, bro. He really is.
I wanted to ask dude, man.
So when Canelo loses those belts at 68 to Bivol, what's gonna happen to your list?
Oh, you know what's going to happen, bro. Bivol, this is what's going to happen. Bivol does not, you know how my list works, Eson. Bivol does not automatically become number one for beating number one. What happens is I'm going to look at everything you did, Bivol. I'm going to look at everybody you fought, and I'm going to rate you accordingly. So based on what you've done, that would make you a 2-division champion, and you beat the number one pound for pound fighter. So in all likelihood, if he were to become undisputed if he takes Canelo's belts, I would say that I would rate him ahead of Jermell Charlo, but still behind Inoue, Crawford, and Usyk. He would enter into the top 5 at number 5. Jermell would drop down to number 6. Because the way it is now.
What happens to your list when Jake Paul wins Saturday?
Oh, bro, I gotta rate Jake Paul number 2, 3, 4, and 5 for beating the Fury.
Ooh, man, that's gonna be a glorious day when I come out here and Canelo after Canelo loses to Bivol. Ooh, again.
Right.
How do
You
y'all
want to
think a
bet? You want
new?
to bet on that? You want to bet on that fight, Julius?
I don't know because I don't know what the fuck they're doing, bro. I feel like if they do it at 68, Canelo stands a better chance. It's not like Bivol has made that weight in recent memory. He's only said he can make that weight. I don't know what effect that's going to have on him. I don't know what effect that's going to have on his punch resistance. And I'm not going to underestimate Canelo because the fight, people not real. Go back and watch the fight. Canelo lost because he wasn't putting up enough offense, but defensively, he was very good. He was very good. Like, he didn't get hit with a lot of bullshit per se. It's just you could see he was losing that. You slipping, you bobbing, you weaving, you rolling. You just can't get nothing off. That's what I saw. That like, yo, you're not landing nothing, bro. You're not getting nothing off of substance. So that's what you got to try to do in the second fight. It ain't like he got ragdolled. He didn't get ragdolled.
He's gonna lose bad though again if Bivol's not drained as
He
shit.
may get stopped.
Yeah, I remember after the fight, I told you if he fights Bivol again, he probably gets knocked out. If it's at 75 at least.
Let me read the super chat. Is it 100% confirmed that Tank and Ryan signed, and are they set to fight? I'm still not believing it until that first bell rings, but can someone try to convince me? Well, I'll say this. The news is that they signed their contracts, but they haven't made an official announcement yet. So I don't even know what that means, bro. That they signed the contract. If that's true, why y'all ain't announced the fight yet? I don't know what they waiting for. Luis Puente says Jose Benavidez got shot. He pound for pound.
Crawford got shot in the head. What's his point?
Ronnie says Cinnamon is number 4 because he coming off an L. No, he not. He coming off a win over Golovkin. Coming off a win. Not a great win, but not a great looking win. T-Roy said, did you see what this Jimmy guy said on Lady Chan's live about Holyfield? She tweeted about it this morning. Nah, I didn't see what he said. I gotta look. But yeah, T-Roy said, hold on, let me get the super chat. I gotta read the beer money. Shout out to those that want to send me beer money. Canelo testing himself at 175 twice is a case and point alone for his number 1 position, in my opinion. And he wants the Bivol rematch. Dare to be great. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. All them guys at 68, with the exception of Callum Smith, they dare not go up there. Jack says, will Rolly be on your pound-for-pound list if he beats Puello? He's already there at number 2. Rolly Romero, bruh. Regis Prograis said the funniest shit. He said Javante Davis will tell you he'll fight anybody. He'll fight Devin Haney. He'll fight Lopez. He'll fight Loma. So he could announce Rolly Romero on Cinco de Mayo. That shit had me rolling, B, because that's exactly what he did, too.
I wanted to say something about Cool Boy and Nui. What I think is going to fluster Nui is that I think Cool Boy is going to be able to use that ramrod jab off of like good footwork. And what I think is going to be a Nui's undoing is how like economical he is in terms of like his punch selection. You really can't do that with a Cool Boy because like how like he's a really good mover and he has like great reflexes and timing to get under shots and over shots. So that's why I'm going with Cool Boy.
That's the drawback that I see, that he knew he doesn't throw bullshit. He not like Figueroa where he just throw bullshit, arm punches, and he just throwing to be throwing. He picks his punches, and against somebody that's defensively responsible, them same punches that be there with a Payano or with a Rodriguez, they not really there with this guy. So that's what I see that is the drawback, that like, yo, you're going to have to try to find a way to get Stephan to let his hands go so you can catch him in between the punches, because catching him outright, it might be difficult. He not no dummy, you know what I mean? And he not little neither. He not little. He bigger than you. So we going to see.
Somebody mentioned Sugar Ray Robinson and Canelo in the same breath. And this is no knock on Canelo because the fighters accept it. But the thing is well, actually it is a knock, but it's not a knock. Sugar Ray Robertson, when he fought Joey Maxim at 175, he wasn't putting weight stipulations on guys and stuff like that. So I don't even know how a person will even compare the two.
You didn't listen. All I said was the amount of activity Sugar Ray had is equivalent to the amount of activity in the modern day Canelo's having, and that's why he's revered. The
I disagree. He only fought 4 times. One time in his career.
Listen, can we say this? Look, and this is not a knock on anybody. This is just how good Sugar Ray Robinson was. I don't compare nobody to him. That's the fucking. That's in some ways. Even though I know that the term predates him, that's the father of the pound for pound. The reason motherfuckers sit around talking about that shit is because of that dude. I don't compare nobody to Sugar Ray Robinson, bro. I used to argue. I remember we used to have the argument who would have won, Floyd or Sugar. And the older I got, the more I started feeling like, man, Sugar would have washed him, bro. He would have
too small.
He would have washed him, bro. At welterweight, bro, you not big enough, bro. Sugar was about, I believe, 5'10", 5'11". Good dimensions to go up to middleweight, which he did, bro. I'm like, look, that was Floyd's third weight, I believe it was. Floyd is a 4 division champion or 5.
5, yeah, 5.
You don't got the size of the power at welter, which is the only meeting ground for the both of you. You don't have the size of the power for that fight. So the older I got, the more I felt Sugar Ray Robinson would have got him, bro. He would have got him. He would have beat him. And I think about Leonard too. Leonard might have got him.
Might have. Come on, bro. Might have. He would have whooped Floyd ass, bro.
The only reason I say might have is because of the Duran fight. Duran got you to play his game and fight his fight. Could Floyd have done that? Yeah, but is Floyd physically strong enough for Leonard? I don't think so. I don't think so. You don't crack harder than Leonard, bro. Y'all both fast, but he bigger than you and longer than you.
Yeah.
And he hit hard.
Floyd wasn't as physical in the pocket as Duran.
140 Crawford. What we saying?
You said a who? A who?
140 against who though?
140 Floyd against 140 Crawford.
I'm picking Crawford, bro. I'm picking Crawford.
I'm not doing this. You're not gonna do this to me. You're not gonna do this to me. Fuck that. I don't have to
answer. I need your answer. You 140 Floyd, 140 Crawford. Talk to me, Jules.
All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. At 140, Floyd never fought a Crawford. There's a chance Crawford wins. There's a chance, a real chance. At 140, you didn't fight nobody like a Crawford. That's arguably Crawford's best weight, and he washed everything at 40.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. I got Crawford based on they're both cerebral. I just think that Crawford is his attack is more sinister. It's more.
But you also not. Let's not. This is why I don't want to do this. Is Crawford really better in the pocket than Floyd? I don't know all that shit, bro. I don't know all that.
Hey, Julius, can I remind you of something? Can I remind you of something real quickly? Do you remember who Floyd's first fight was at 140? It was DeMarcus Corley. Do you remember DeMarcus Corley wobbling him twice and he wasn't a puncher? Yeah. What you think Crawford, who's a puncher, would do to Floyd, bro?
But Corley was unbeaten at that point as well.
He had like 6 losses. No, he wasn't. He was not unbeaten, bro. Box record.
No. I must have got that wrong. Sorry.
He was IBF champ at the time, though, bro.
No, he wasn't a champion, bro. He was
IBF champ at the time he fought Crawford. Floyd. He was.
Not DeMarcus Corley. Nah, that was his first fight to acclimate to 140. He was like a top 10 guy, but he wasn't a champion though. And DeMarcus Corley wobbled him twice. And DeMarcus not a puncher. Crawford's a puncher and a cerebral puncher.
Why we gotta do this, bro? I'm not doing this. Let me read these super chats. Remember, Ali had the Africa people behind him. Ali Boombaye. Plus, Big George made a mistake and fought the wrong fight with Ali. Yeah, he tried to run him over. Eddie wants better beef and Bivol in the UAE in June. Yeah, but the argument with that is the same argument that I've been making, and I'm going to keep making it because people don't want it to be Artur's fault, but to me, it looked like it is. You got to petition the WBC to let you do that. And if you're not doing that, if you're not telling them, look, we don't want to fight Callum next. We want to fight Bivol because remember, he Muslim. He going to observe Ramadan from March, I believe, going into April. So he ain't going to probably come back till maybe June. Well, then right now, what you need to be doing if you want Bivol is you need to petition for an exemption to the mandatory because if you don't, they telling you got to fight Callum Smith next. That's what they telling you. I don't hear nothing about Bob. I don't hear nothing about Artur doing nothing. I see Eddie talking about the fight, but that don't mean nothing. It's 2 teams that got to make a fight. And I don't see what the fuck Artur is doing to get that fight. I don't see what he doing.
Bob ain't doing shit.
Yeah, I don't see them doing nothing, bro. And I don't think
My question about this whole situation, I felt like Bob was going to be the hindrance to this fight.
I feel like Bob's sandbagging it, to be real with you. I feel like you could have been did this, bro. The hindrance to this fight, and that's why I hate boxing sometimes, because motherfuckers don't keep up with shit. From 2021 till now, Bob been sandbagging it. Bivol been wanted this, bro. He even went to some Russian investors to try to do the fight over there, and Bivol said, "Yo, Top Rank is not interested." Fast forward a week, what Bob is saying on boxing scene? Yeah, Bivol is boring, bro. He a good boxer, but he boring. Pour cold water on the fight. Like Bob sandbagging it, bro. I don't care who you like more than who. I don't care which fighter you think is more exciting. What I see is Bivol been trying to do this. And Artur's side, I don't know, maybe Artur himself is not worried about it, but his team, I don't see no desire to really do the fight.
Bob been putting cold water on the fight from the jump, and the thing is because I don't think he sees the money in the fight.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, two Russians, see, this is the problem. Bob ain't cool with them people in the Middle East the way that Eddie is, right? I understand where Bob is coming from because of the Vosdick fight. When he did the Vosdick fight in Philly, that shit didn't do no numbers, bro. And it's sad because it was a good fight, the unification match between Vosdick and Better Beef. But in America, it's just not a lot of money in two Russians fighting each other. It's not a lot of money in that. In the UK, it's not that much money in it either. But Eddie could take that shit to the UAE and get them boys paid. He can do it. The question is, do you think Bob want to send his guy to the zone? No.
He's been saying he want to have control of the fight. But if you want to have control of the fight, you got to do what needs to be done to make the fight.
Yeah. So I want it to happen, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And gentlemen, on that note, I'm gonna go eat lunch and take a shit because I've been holding this shit in for like 3 minutes. I'll holler at y'all.
I'm gonna have a drink for you right now.
It's been a pleasure. Y'all take it easy.
Peace.